we'll do the intro really quick. I know this channel has come over and hosted and rated Kryz before a couple times. I think 2 or 3 times actually. We just love your stuff, man. So
thank you.
We're super glad to have you on today. And everybody, this is Kryz Gaming. He's should be center lower on your screen there. That handsome feller with the New York Yankees hat. Anyway,
and special guest Daily Piece of Ash as well.
Damn,
the officer showed up today.
That was a jab. That was a jab.
That was hardcore, a jab.
It's all good. We love you, Ash. But Kryz, welcome, man. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about what you do, man. Like, what do you like to do? We know you stream. You do a little bit of everything with that part, but unpack it a little bit for us and tell us like what got you started.
Oh, good question. What got me started was basically podcast. I mean, we were talking about it before, but podcast was my main thing that I wanted to do. I'm a big comedy person, so I used to watch like a lot of comedy podcasts, The Fighter and the Kid, Theo Vaughn.
Oh, yeah.
And I figured, I was like, you know what, let me try. Because for me, it looked simple at first. It's like, all right, you can have people to get together, shoot the shit, and have fun and say jokes and say some crazy stuff and see if people will listen or watch, So I did that. I had my first podcast fell through the cracks because I had absolutely no idea how to do it. It was all over the place. It fell apart. Then me and 2 other buddies got together and we're like, you know what, let's actually try to figure out how we can do this. So we created the Last Slice podcast. That went for about maybe a year and a half. But that was a great experience. I got to learn how to video edit, basically like doing Photoshop and basically learning how to create content in a sense.
Yeah.
But then we lost the studio space. It was just a bedroom and he wasn't able to afford it. So we weren't able to do it anymore. But the person I did it with, Trill Boy, he was streaming on Twitch.
Okay.
So I didn't know anything about live streaming at all. I was just like, it was a whole new world for me. I was just like, what is this? Started asking questions. But for the most part, I've been gaming for like since I was a kid, especially PC gaming. I've been PC gaming for about 10 years. I was a big Apex player. Loved Apex. I would come home from work, play like a couple hours. Then I figured one day I'm just like, you know what? Trill Boy does it on live stream. Why don't I just take the chance to do it? I had the equipment already. So I was just like, let's see what we could do with this. And I've been live streaming for about a year and a half now. I started off on YouTube.
Okay.
I did YouTube streaming for about a year. And then a buddy of mine started streaming on Kick. And I was like, you know what? Let me try and see what this is all about. I know it was fairly new. But everybody was just amazing. They was just like supportive. They're like, yeah, hop on, we'll help you out. And and now we're here just on Kick exclusively. Stop streaming on YouTube, but I still do like a long form videos and content.
Yeah.
I do shorts too, just to throw that to promote the stream. But other than that, I've been doing it for a year and a half now, and I love it. It's just great. I got to meet some of you here, and it's amazing. You know. But
I mean, that's where we've all met each other through streaming.
It's a beautiful thing. It really is.
Yeah.
It's just incredible to meet people from all different places, especially around the world too. That's just incredible. And but it's also fun to hang out and chat with everybody. And it's one of the things that I like to do is just come home from work, hop on and just get to hang out with everyone. It's just great.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things, like for most of us too, was just we're gaming with friends, and then like someone's like, oh, I'm gonna just like push the live button and check it out, and then really, I mean, I think we all met each other during like COD 4 blackout days, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been 3-4 years almost, I think,
Mine's lagging
somewhere in there. But it was the same thing, it was like, I'm already playing games, I play with friends, like, let's just try this thing out and then see how it goes, and you just slowly add to your setup, you know what I mean? Like, you got a pretty nice looking little setup back there that I like
Oh,
the
thank
color
you. Yeah.
scheme on there.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Most of these things I had from the podcast.
Yeah.
A lot of like my lighting, my camera was all from the podcast, and I figured I was just like, you know what, sitting here. I wasn't doing much. I was just trying to figure out how we're going to do. We did a couple of Discord calls for the podcast, and then life always finds a way. You know, you get like those little bumps in the road sometimes, and people have their lives to live, which is understandable. So, but I was just like, it was just sitting here, so I was just like, you know what, let me try it out. The same thing like you said, push the live button, let's see what happens. Essentially,
Yeah.
So, but I was the one that was kind of nervous because I was just like, all right, how do you do this? It was a whole new world. Like I didn't know, about like subbing, gifting subs. I had no idea what was going on, but a lot of people helped me out and just showed me the way essentially. But it's been fun, man. I enjoy it.
So is it something that you like do or are trying to do as like a business, a side business, or like primary like income type of thing, or is it just like just for fun for you?
For me, it's just for fun.
Yeah.
I just enjoy it. I just if it could become a business, why not? Hey, you never know. Am I pushing for that? Not necessarily, but I do enjoy. I just have fun with it. Like I said, for some people, video editing might be like kind of a headache, but I enjoy it. That's where my I get to be a little bit creative. I like to Photoshop. I love it. Digital art. I also draw. So if I can try to create certain things and showcase it to everyone and my abilities, that's great. I mean, it's just amazing.
So you're an artist.
Yeah I love to draw, especially on Procreate, digital art, regular art.
Good to
I love that.
Yeah,
I know who to hit up whenever I want a tattoo drawn.
I mean, hey, listen, hit me up, man. I mean, I've always been creative in a sense, but I never really found like an outlet, if you will, to like express it.
Oh,
But I feel like live streaming is just that.
Yeah.
Like some of my designs, anything that you see on the stream is basically 85% me. Loading screens, all that stuff. It's just me taking my time because I do have a full-time job. So if I have some downtime, I'll just go straight to editing and start grinding out and like try to come up with something that people would like or whatever.
I like it, man.
So
I feel like
Jay
that changes
says-
the whole dynamic and the content that you see with people. The people that are just doing it because they love it. I'm not saying that people that do it full time, they're not capable of having that same level of, relatability and content and all that stuff, because they definitely can for some of them. But the ones that are doing it full time, there's a different level of like pressure and incentive there. And it just creates a whole different dynamic. Like the people that are just grinding it out at night and on the weekends because they want to, they're inevitably putting out a whole different level of content.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
yeah, and it's hard too. I mean, any type of content creating could be difficult at times. But yeah, I agree with that 100%. Yeah.
Jay's got a couple questions for you too when you have a moment.
Okay, when you're passionate about something, I think it's just a different viewpoint in a sense.
Makes a huge difference. Yeah.
It's a huge difference. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jay asked, what's your best memory thus far in streaming? And then also, have you ever thought about streaming your artwork?
Ooh, streaming my artwork like in real time, doing like digital art.
Yeah.
I have thought about that. That's a whole nother level of stress, I feel.
Really?
But at the end of the day, it's digital art. I would consider it. I never really thought about it that much, but that would be a great idea. I would just have to figure out how. I would have to rearrange the setup to do that. But yeah, that's a great idea, actually. I thought about it a little bit, but not too much.
I feel like there's a
Bob Ross at digital art.
Yeah, I mean,
Kryz Ross.
I got Bob Ross over there, man. He's the goated for me, man.
Yeah. Happy little
the only thing
accidents.
the only thing I would be afraid of was stuff like that. And I kind of have this too, like with web design, because we've talked about me streaming like my, design processes and things like that. And it's like copywriting, like the copyright issues, like you're on there doing it and people can just grab it and slow-mo it and recreate and all that stuff. So I guess there's a certain level of that, infringement possibility.
You could probably put a watermark across like a,
you probably could.
It doesn't
but they
have to
could
be
just recreate it.
Yeah, they can recreate it and redraw it.
They could take the whole concept and just recreate it.
That's true.
It'd be more of the intellectual property versus the physical part of it. It would be like taking his ideas and
just recreating them.
But Not saying don't do it. I'm sure there's a way around it, and it's a great idea. I mean, like I said, we've talked about me doing it before too with my web design stuff, and I haven't out of simply time and stress like you said.
Is there any way to combat that though?
Yes, Missouri.
No.
Unfortunately, no, right?
No, copying is just a thing. You put your stuff out there, and people are doing it in my industry, period, now too. So it's there.
Well, the only way that you could almost like somewhat combat it is that would be to like delete your VOD right after it. You know what I'm saying? But like you could still have somebody that could, you know, screen record the entire thing and get it. It would just make it harder for them.
Yeah.
But if you have a video of you having that art being live broadcast and have like a date attached to it, you can prove that you did it first, at least.
Yeah. So I was going to say, technically, even without copywriting or trademarking, there is some degree of legal protection with regards to like that type of stuff. It's a very tricky, and I cannot tell you the intricacies of it and everything. I just know that there is some degree of protection for things like that. But who wants to do that, right? Like go through that whole legal process just to protect something that someone stole from you while you were live streaming it. You know, that's a lot of work.
There's also another aspect. Good.
I had a teacher that would tell us to, if we wanted to publish something, or you wanted, like you wrote something and you don't have a copyright or anything for it, to mail it to yourself and don't open it, because that envelope being time-stamped and everything from the government basically is legal.
Interesting. That's a good idea.
I've never heard of that. But that's kind of
I hadn't either. That is interesting.
So my old editor, whenever that would do all of my COD TikTok stuff, like he was like, man, I want to stream, you know, doing some edits and stuff. And so I was like, okay, stream my stuff. And he's like, you don't care? And I'm like, no, you know, because he's doing it also in a teaching aspect to teach people how to do those types of things.
That's awesome.
You know, so those types of things you might be able to do. So like if you get something for somebody that asks you to do something, like, yo, can I stream this? You know what I'm saying? Or if it's your own editing, you know, you can kind of portions of that without letting everything out of the bag.
That's awesome, because finding how to edit is very hard. It took me a lot of YouTube videos to figure out, because I use Final Cut Pro on a Mac. So it's not, you know, it's not hard, but it's definitely different from Premiere. But the hours I spent just researching, you know, and also going under Reddit forums and trying to figure out solutions. Cool, that was brutal. But, you know, yeah, I mean, that's awesome, though. To do something like that as well would be great.
I've actually...
That's another thing. I'm very open in helping people when it comes to like OBS, when it comes to questions about, you know, how to do designs and stuff. I'm always trying to help, because if I could save people time, I would, because, you know, it could be brutal sometimes.
Oh, that's Ashley. We just talked about it. She's talking about offering a new service, you know, and it's all about helping people.
Awesome.
You know, of course it's a paid service, but you know, it's one of those things they just pick her brain, they pay for it, and then boom, there you go.
That's awesome.
So we found in my industry, and I think this may translate into your industry as well, you know, but for me, a lot of the times it was like a lot of people, I'm in a certain price range, right? As designers, as creatives, and like we get to a point where we've been doing this enough and long enough that we charge what our work is worth, right? And not everyone is able to afford that, and that's okay. Like we should be able to attract and repel the right people. But what I found was a lot of people needed the help that I can give them, but they couldn't necessarily afford to just hire me to do it for them. So I created a service. It's a really scaled down. It's like hire me for an hour. And instead of just paying me to do something for you, we get on a call together and we can go over anything you want to know about your website strategy, about your website. We can make updates to your website. If you've got some things that are not working and you need them fixed, it's kind of like a mentorship. But you can also get updates to your site at the same time. So it's like a really scaled down, and it's a really affordable, you know, it's a little bit more than my hourly rate. But I feel like it's just a little bit more accessible for people that are like, and then again, you have people that are more, there's some people that are like, I don't want to know how to do it. I don't care to know how to do it. I just want to pay you to do it. And then you have other people that are like, no, I really want to know how to do it myself, so I don't have to reach out to people like you later. And so they want to learn how to do it. So I'm going to beta launch something like that. But it just made it a little bit more accessible for people who can't afford to hire me full on to do stuff for them.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome.
That's something Yeah, you said you use what? Procreate? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I use
For,
Procreate.
Apple. Yeah,
JC uses Procreate. That's what she draws on.
I use a DaVinci Resolve for editing, which I really love, just because it's free, and you can actually, like, I dabbled a little bit into it. Was basically creating animated 3D graphics on there. Which the first thing I created on DaVinci Resolve was the Earth. So I created a sphere and used basically keyframing to be able to animate it to spin, and got a map of the globe, a flat image map of the globe, and wrapped it on this sphere, and was actually able to make it turn. And then I put words around it that also rotated as the world turned, right? And this is all created in DaVinci Resolve, which is pretty wild.
That's awesome.
I had no idea this program could do that, and I was making these things. I'm like, man, just using that, you can make and do so many different little things. You know, not just with like a sphere, but with really anything. So
yeah,
that program has so much capability.
Yeah, because before I drew on Procreate, I would draw regular on paper. I would buy Copic markers because, as you can tell, I love superheroes and stuff. So I would draw like Batman, Superman, and all that stuff, and buy all these markers and pens, pencils, which weren't cheap at the time at the local art store. But the Procreate, I think it was like $10, and it does everything.
Yeah,
and it looks great too. So tech is my next move is After Effects. Get into animations, like you just said.
Yeah,
which is a whole new ball game. But I'm excited.
If you could animate some of your work, that would be wild, man.
Yeah,
that would be wild.
Yeah,
even just little short animations,
Yeah, 100%.
You see the channel on YouTube that animates podcasts, like stories from podcasts.
Yeah,
that's pretty fucking funny. Like
that's probably a
Joey
lot of work.
Diaz shitting on the wall and the neighbor thinking it's a bear.
I've seen something like that, or they've used like some other types of imagery or clips, like meme style. I see a lot of people do a lot of meme style, and it's just cutting, pasting video sections is all it really is.
Yeah.
That do that, like, they tell a story about a trash can, and they have like a trash can image appear, and and then they were talking, so there's like a talking image again appear, basically like a storyboard within the story.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool because it kind of keeps your attention. But animation is, that'd be pretty wild too, though.
Yeah, it's for me, it's a little bit intimidating. It looks like a lot to learn, but I guess if you keep doing it, it definitely get like a little bit smoother. But I'm basically like how I used to be when I was like thinking about video editing. I'm like, okay, you look at it, you're like, where do I start first? How do I do this? And then when you keep doing it, it just gets like a little bit easier in a way.
I have a little experience in animating, actually. It's very limited to sticky notes and stick figures.
Okay.
But have you ever seen those? Like you
I can make a stick figure do the jumping jacks
draw on every page, flip book. That's like my limit in animation, which I had 2 stick figures fighting, and then like one stabbed the other one with a sword and die. It was pretty cool.
Oh, that's awesome. See, you can create anything. That's amazing.
With that.
I seen
skill.
I see.
I've seen
early 2000s stickdeath.com.
Ooh.
It was a video game on a website that it was 2 stick figures fighting, and like it was fighting to the death. You stab them, throw them off buildings and stuff. It's cool.
I think.
You guys remember E-Bombs World?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the games there, especially the archery games. They were amazing.
Who was it? Superfly. Do you remember? Was that Joe Cartoon? Is that what it was called? Did y'all ever see those? It was like Joe Cartoon, and then this animation called Superfly.
Want me to look it up?
You should pull it. You should pull it up, Rebel, because it's similar to like the stick figures, the E-Bombs World type of thing that you could find.
It was Joe Cartoon Superfly.
Yeah, Joe Cartoon, I believe it's called Superfly. It was just this little animation. It was very disturbing and graphic, but it was hilarious. Superfly.
Yeah. Superfly.
Oh yeah.
It was.
Those were hilarious.
Yeah, it was a long time ago.
I'm drunk.
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
It's on YouTube, right? Okay.
Yeah, those animated versions of the podcast are hilarious. One just popped up.
Superfly.
That's not me, I promise.
What's up? What's up, man? Who's your daddy? You know who your daddy is? Huh? It's me. Yeah, I'm your daddy. I'm your daddy. How come I'm your daddy? Because I did this to your mama. Yeah, your mama. I did this to your mama. Come and Superfly. Your mama. Your mama. Oh, yeah, you suck, but your mama's sweet. You suck, man. But your mama, oh. Far out, man. You do suck. Not as good as your mama. Spit or swallow, huh? Sissy boy. Oh, my freaking head. I'm so wasted. Are you crazy, man? You piss off Superfly. Superfly. Banzai. Hello. Sika. Hey, Kika. Banzai. Sissy. What's up? Yo, check this out. Yeah.
That was like all those little cartoons like that. It was just
Oh my gosh, Joe Cartoon. Okay,
Yeah.
my brother used to like the hamster dance.
Yeah, the
one.
hamster. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the frog in the blender.
Yep. Yeah, those were
Yeah.
some of the
Okay, I do
cartoons that were
remember.
on there.
Now I remember.
Joe
Yes,
Cartoon.
he used
That's
to make
like-
me watch the hamster dance.
Yeah. That's some old. That's God. What is that? Early 2000s, maybe. I don't know.
Mhm.
I may be dating myself a little bit, but
But I mean, look how far animation is coming. You know, because like, look at what they did, like with the football game today out in London.
Hmm.
It was live animation
Oh,
because
yeah,
they did they did the Toy Story
game.
version.
what did
Yeah,
they just put
and
a
then
filter over it or something?
I don't know what it was. It's like AI that was capturing like the whole movement. It was damn accurate too. Like it was
Yeah.
where like to the yard
Really?
accurate. Yeah.
It was delayed by half a second. I have to check this out sometime.
Yeah, it was. They called it the Sunday Fun Day or whatever, and they did it specific. You know, and they had both the games on, and you could pick which one you wanted. And like they used the slinky as the yardage markers, and like the claw would move the ball back onto the field. Like we had both of Piper and JC were sitting there watching it. It was really funny.
Was it a mix between the live gameplay?
No, it's either or.
No, it was either or.
So it was full, like
Yeah.
animated. They basically
Yes.
just took the field imagery and the player, everything on it, and made it animated live.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty
In-
wild.
In Andy's room.
Yeah, it was live from
Really?
Andy's room. Yep.
Huh. That's I wish we could look at it. That would definitely be a copyright hit.
Yeah, that's Disney. That's Disney and
That's all. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
they'd send guys in suits to the door, be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
we tracked this from your IP."
We'll go missing.
We'd be canceled.
Oh yeah. Did you guys see the video of the guy that was on Twitter that was getting like gifted subs and stuff, and then 5 to 10 gifted subs at a time? And then the video, somebody gifts one sub, and he basically just clowns them and trashes them because they're like broke and can only afford to gift one sub. And then
No.
immediately he let that shit marinate overnight because you know how the internet goes. The internet started to cancel this dude. Came back and said like, this is exactly what like they had planned to do. It was a setup. If you look at the before and after of this clip, it was a setup to post just that particular section on the web, because basically it's how people get famous now, and now you know who
Yeah.
they are.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know who this fucking person is, but all of a sudden now I know who their name is because of this stupid ass video where they
Mhm.
basically used cancel culture and backfired it.
Well, I was saying a
Wow.
few episodes ago that I feel like both sides are using controversy for advertisement for
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
promotion. You know,
That's the type of
Oh, yeah.
advertisement these days.
Oh yeah,
Well, like-
I mean Nadia. You remember the Nadia thing? And then
Bad media is
She's
Still
still
media.
at it. She's still at it, but
Yeah.
she's just an IRL streamer. She's now like with the
yeah,
The-
she's like OnlyFans and IRL and some other crap or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And then like Censor did that whole like just crazy,
Exposure.
Marrying her,
stupid
That-
video. Yeah.
bro.
And went on a live stream and basically just sucked like 12,000 subs off of the viewers. Like just based off of that, all that hype and shit surrounding. Oh, I got these lists and all these names and bullshit, and it was all a complete lie. Just to blow up, like get viral, you know?
Yeah, the guy's name was Sir Gimme, I believe.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was supposed to. They said it was an experiment to see because of everything that's been happening the past week and a half. You know, with Kick being under fire with certain content creators.
Okay, yeah.
The ice
Speaking
Poseidon
of that,
thing.
Yep.
Did you see he got iced shit water poured
Yes.
over his head?
That shit was
Now-
hilarious.
Now I have to ask: do you guys think that was real or was it planned?
I think it was real, just the way that he was subdued by Sam. Like he really had him locked up. That wasn't like I'm holding you as a fake thing. He had him locked up.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't believe any of it anymore.
Did you guys listen to the
don't.
TTS in the video when Sam was locking him up?
No.
He was just like, "You just got you're getting choked out by a guy in a maid outfit. Get fucked."
Yeah. That's what I was saying. You got chased down and subdued and choked out by a dude in a French maid outfit and a pineapple haircut, dude.
Is that the guy
Hilarious.
that has like the stupid hair on top of his head?
Yeah,
Yes,
he has.
that's
It's
the one.
literally a pineapple.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Right now, I mean,
Yeah.
it's right behind those Island Boys haircuts.
So did you see Ashley's reel that she made
No.
on Insta?
It's on my business Instagram.
Yeah, on the business. So she capitalized on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey thing
Oh.
or whatever.
Yeah.
She's the one.
A
where,
lot of people in my industry did.
Yeah, well, they were like where they're waving at her and all that stuff, and then some of the sideline guys. And after that, I've seen it come up a lot more now too, or whatever. It like just with cancel culture as it is. Some dude posted and was like, "Oh, somebody that kneels for the national anthem," and I'm like, "Dude, that's so 2020." Like, who cares? Why are we bringing all that shit up now?
I don't even think it was him. He didn't say specifically who he was referring to because it has like a bunch of people in the video. It has Travis, it has Patrick, it has some other like they're not players, they're like workers. So I don't even know who he's talking about. I don't know if he's talking about Travis or he's talking about Patrick, but he was like, he kneels for the anthem, terrible example, pretty shitty. He should go to Canada with Kaepernick or whatever. And I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking. I don't even know
Oh,
what you're
with
talking
Kaepernick.
about. Yeah, Kaepernick. He's like, which person are you referring to? And second of all, then I had to go Google it, right? Because I'm like, I'm not gonna take down my reel or anything because it wasn't a politically charged reel. It was literally about website design. So, it's like it didn't have anything to do with it. So I didn't care. But I was like, I just don't know if I should, because I'm a snarky person. I didn't know if I should say something snarky back or if I should just delete it. So I needed to do my research first before I decided how to approach it.
We definitely appreciate snarky Ash stuff.
But it was one of those things to me where I looked at it, I'm like, dude, like, why are you living in the past? Like, that shit's over. Like, it's just, it's First Amendment. Like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, let them do what they do. But I'm just like, when I saw it, I laughed. I was like, this is so fucking dumb.
I've only been on Twitter or X for about 4 months. I held out for the longest time because I would hear how people would try to attack certain individuals for saying or doing something wrong. I did it just strictly for the stream. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, do you have Twitter?" And I was like, "No." I held out for a while. Wind up getting it, and then the past week, people got together and tried to go after certain content creators, and it's just like, I didn't believe it. I couldn't believe it at first. I was like, wait, are we all jumping to conclusions, or are we going to just, be like adults and understand the situation and then address it accordingly? Why are we trying to attack someone without the full context of the video, off of a 30-second clip, and it just blew my mind.
Yeah.
That's
I thought
society.
Twitter is just but Twitter in general as a platform, I feel like, and this is coming from, I still do not. I have a Twitter account. I don't use it. I primarily use Facebook and Instagram, personally and professionally. I just feel like, in my experience, Twitter seems to be more wrought with that kind of stuff in this particular industry in general. I don't know about other industries because Facebook obviously is
Yeah.
I think just bad for everything. But Instagram, there's not quite, at least in my experience, there's not as much of it in that regard as there is on Twitter. I'm like, I don't touch Twitter. I just don't. Not worth my time.
I don't blame you at all. I just go on just to post my stuff and then I'm out of there.
Mhm.
Well, people in y'all's industry, like in gaming and stuff, y'all is traditionally Twitter. Like that's the platform of choice for most people in the gaming. So it makes sense that, you know, you use Twitter and stuff like that. I'm just fortunate that my people, most of them are not on Twitter, so I didn't really have to jump on, but I totally get why you know, would do that.
Twitter's like a safe space for people to pretend that they're brave and say just the most
That's a good way to put
outlandish
it.
shit.
Can you say
And
it
get
louder for the
famous
people in
for
the
it.
back, please?
Yeah. Twitter is just a place for people to pretend that they're brave behind a keyboard and put it on the internet and probably get like famous or viral for it. And
Yeah.
a lot of it is just a horribly bad take. Most of it is a horribly bad take and very opinionated and less factual than you would think.
There's more feelings involved instead of, you know,
Yeah.
context. It's a lot of, you know what it is, and it's specifically in all these platforms in whole, the narcissism running rampant nowadays, and everything is more of me. I feel this way.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
unacceptable. I need to speak up for this person when that person's not even asking for help. And it's just.
And then
it's
they
just
go,
like, well, who are you? And then you have the leader who's there and go, I speak on behalf of everyone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, well, I don't feel that way. So why are you speaking for me?
yeah.
If you're going to have one of these spaces, how about we all collectively just listen and everybody talk? Not just, I'm the leader here now, but who made you the leader?
Yeah,
Like, you know,
speak for yourself type shit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't agree with a lot of people 100%. You know, I'd be stupid to. And I mean, if you start agreeing with people 100% on everything, you just become a sheep. You know?
Yeah.
You're not a critical thinker at that point, and that's what Twitter is full of. Those people, full of it is just overflowing with. I hate to say it, but like just narcissistic fucking idiots too. And like they have these communities, and I love my community, and I have all these friends, and then they continue on to say like the most selfish, self-appointed, like narcissistic shit, and they don't even realize it. And
They don't even realize that's the crazy part.
Post, and you're like, oh. And they're being serious. It's not like they're trolling, you know what I mean? They're being serious. Like I like to go on Twitter and fuck around sometimes because it's fun, but like these dudes are they're serious, you know, and they don't even realize what they're basically just advertising how fucked up of a person they are, and they don't even see it.
Sorry,
but you can go and look at it. Some of these people in the content realm, in the sheer volume of people that follow them for the dumb shit that they say and they do, that just goes to show how society is.
Oh yeah,
That's that sheeple mentality.
Sheeple.
Like there's one
like
there's one specific dude here on Kick that's the same way. It's like, why in the fuck does he have this platform? Like, why has he not been canceled?
One
main one.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
There's one main one. Yeah, he's you know, I said it before, and I think maybe even on the last show, is like there are literally people sitting in Aiden Ross's chat right now waiting for something terrible to happen to him just so they can clip it and fucking post it somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yes.
1,000%.
That's how fucked up these people are. Like he may have his headspace wrong and the way he's doing shit. Like his direction isn't great, right? But he's still a fucking human being, you know? And these fucking people, I swear to God, they're sitting there waiting for something terrible to happen just so they can clip it.
Vultures. They're just like vultures just sitting there.
I feel like a lot of
because
the
they gain
viewers in the bikini
exposure too.
Yeah.
like
They want the clout from it.
hot tub streams and stuff, they're waiting for that slip, you know, so they can clip it. That, you know, that's half of them are doing.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of fucking perverts.
No, what I'm saying, Jay, is people want that, and all these IRL streamers out in these other countries, like basically they're on the fucking verge of creating an international incident like every damn time they go out there, you know, and people are watching that because they're just waiting for some cop somewhere to fucking shoot them down for whatever reason happens, you know, or if some horrible thing happens.
News media outlet.
Yeah,
So
it's like
the dude in Japan
yeah.
got arrested.
yeah, swatting, you know, people like, what the fuck, dude?
The dude in Japan that was harassing the locals and stuff, they ended up like
You got knocked the fuck
forcefully
out.
getting him like that guy. He got choked out, slapped, and knocked out all on stream before.
Yeah.
But he
Dude.
trespassed on a construction site, and like a day later, the cops like ambushed him at a store and arrested him for trespassing. Which means that they were looking for a reason to find him. You know, they went after him hard because they were just looking for a reason to put him in jail.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy though is, you know, I know we talked about it a little bit last time, but just being in Japan or whatever, like, and me knowing a lot of the cops up north where I was at, it takes a lot for them to do anything to you.
That's why they were looking for a reason to arrest him, because they were sick of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, on the streets harassing the locals and everything, and they were just sick of him, and they were just finding any reason just to go after him as hard as they could to get him off the streets.
Yeah.
They
I know the
actually
Japanese-
changed the laws too. They changed the laws in Japan about IRL streaming.
Really?
Are they?
Did they?
Yeah, I believe so. I read an article where they changed the laws, and he made national headlines too in Japan. I think his name is Johnny Somali.
Yeah, something like that. That was
Well,
Johnny Salami or something.
Salami?
Well, you go
Could
down
be.
to
I don't
Somali.
even know.
you go down to freaking Okinawa, and I know the Japanese government is looking for, you know, a very, very good reason to cut ties with the Marines.
Mm-hmm.
Like every weekend something happens down there.
Oh yeah, it's a liberty risk. Like every damn weekend there.
You hear China's taking all the damn pandas back, except for from Russia, because they're the only ones nice to China.
What?
Oh well.
The Chinese government had taken the world's population of pandas in zoos and you know, places and taking them back because they're just here on rental,
Or
basically.
they were on loan, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're loaned out?
Yeah.
I did hear about that. There's a lot of cases where they're native to somewhere else, and
Mhm.
they'll loan them out to like other countries to either populate or put in zoos or things like that. And they decided recently to take all of them back.
Well,
Good.
throw a little freaking hissy fit. Who cares?
Good.
I did see something about that.
hate
But it's
zoos.
funny.
Being a
It's the only
douchebag government.
place you'll be able to go to see a panda would be Russia or China.
I'm okay watching animals on television behind
Yeah.
the camera lens from Nat Geo or something.
I'll use the panda stickers on my Instagram story.
The more and more I think about it, the more and more I hate SeaWorld, the more and more I hate zoos and just people that aren't there, that do more than just conserve, you know? They put on shows and make money and all that shit. The more and more I hate that shit.
You hear that was the one in Florida that has a
There's one that
dolphin
died recently.
in
Yeah.
a unsafe pool, whatever, lonely by itself.
Yeah.
The orca
Well, yeah, they were.
already died from it.
Yeah,
Nothing new.
well, yeah, it was in Florida. It was the orca, and I think it was like a week from being released
Mm.
into the wild, and it ended up dying.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw that on a TikTok. Some dude was making a joke about Florida, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
That's
There's
that's
a guy that
crazy
keeps calling
man.
and saying that he'll take the dolphin and release it, just get it out of there because they're not doing nothing with it. You know, just sitting there in a tank that's unrepaired and
Yeah. You know what's
it's showing signs of mental, you know, digression.
I think there was a video that came out a couple of days ago. So 2 days ago we had bad heavy rain in NYC, and the Central Park Zoo flooded to the top, and one sea lion escaped from the actual zoo, and everybody was rooting for it. It's like, yeah, they're not
For you,
supposed to
man.
be there. This is their opportunity to, you know, create a new life.
Wow.
Get out of there. Just one thing, SeaWorld too, all these Shamu show. I'm like, look, there's tons of orcas there, and they're, you know, Shamu's been several different orcas, so a lot of other people know that. Even though orcas live for a long time, the original Shamu is long dead, and there's been several post the original. When you see them out in the wild, like, it changes your whole perspective on them being in pools and cages like that.
Hmm.
And it almost makes
And those
sick to your
pools are
stomach.
small too.
Yeah.
I've seen a overhead view
Yeah.
satellite image of one of the tanks, and then
Yeah.
you can see the size of the orca. And you're just like, that's not okay. It's not even nearly enough space for it to move.
Yeah.
It's like having a 2-foot catfish in a bathtub.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would
but I
eat
mean,
the
it's-
catfish.
Well, but that's the thing. Like the actual like performance tank is bigger than where they actually live.
Yeah.
Oh,
which
that's
is
true
still
too.
isn't
Yeah.
that big, you know.
Yeah.
If you think about
What
it,
I heard
like
when I heard today that the water pressure holds or supports the organs of whales and stuff. So when they take them out of the water, their organs collapse and they don't live much longer anyway after that.
what, like whales and stuff.
Yeah.
I
don't know about orcas. I know like whales. That
I'm
should
sure their
happen. But,
body
like, I don't know
weight-
about orcas because orcas are technically dolphins.
Are they?
Yeah,
They're closer to dolphins than they are whales.
Oh.
in the dolphin family.
Oh, I didn't know that. I
Never
learn
knew that
something
either.
every
Something
day.
new. There you go.
Yeah, they're fucking enormous though.
And SeaWorld's got to be making money hand over fist for the past couple of years, though, too.
Ugh.
Just on the performances.
And
Dude, it costs $60 per person to get into that bitch.
60
yeah.
to get in. Whoa.
Yes.
unless you're active
Wow.
duty military, you get in for free once per year into
Yes.
SeaWorld.
I would much rather go see like one of those Universal Studios stuntman shows
Yeah,
than
dude.
a
I'd rather see
than a
people
whale
in cages.
jumping out of the water. Yeah.
There's a word for that, Skip.
Prison.
Whoa.
No, I don't want to go there.
I wasn't thinking about that, but
What's the word?
they put the lotion in the basket.
no. I didn't mean it like that. I meant it like Merc says it in the chat.
It puts the lotion on the skin.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I
I mean,
can't hear. It's all skipping for me.
it does it every so often for me too.
Oh, you're catching up on the data coming through your Wi-Fi there.
I turned the
Yeah.
fucking Wi-Fi off.
You're
Well, I
like,
can't.
It
Do you
worked
want to
better.
do you want to
5G
share
is
your
better.
hotspot with me then?
And then share yours. It would be easy.
I have none left. Remember?
Oh shit.
It
Now
works.
mine's gonna
It's
take a
working.
shit on me.
It's just
Guys,
you know,
we're on location.
we can see you.
If you couldn't tell.
Yeah, they're at Airbnb, and there's some.
Yeah.
What'd you call that on the
Yeah.
back on the wall there, Rebel? Broccoli
It's broccoli. Yeah, he's
Broccoli
got a
on the
snack
wall.
on the wall.
in a basket. Yep.
Ruger laying down chilling.
Oh
And
man,
when they said toss the salad, he tossed it.
on the wall.
Real well.
Oh my gosh. I'm getting sad thinking about animals in cages now. I don't want. Let's move on to something else.
So my father-in-law is actually very upset right now.
Because you're not there.
So
Or what?
no, apparently he woke up last night from a dream and he was worried about Ruger getting his nuts chopped off.
Oh,
My dad is really old school. He's like the kind of guy that had dogs, but he never got them like neutered or anything. He's
Yeah.
like, why would you do that? Why neuter them? And I'm like, because we don't intend to breed them, and why not? You know? He's like, the same thing with cats. He's like, I had this tomcat, and it's better because they just go outside. And I'm like, no, because my cats are inside, and if I don't fix them, they'll spray everywhere. Like, but my dad is like, oh, he's so sad for my dog. He's getting neutered.
Yeah, before he left
He's
today.
having
Before he left
sympathy.
today.
Yeah.
No, before he left today, he was like, "Oh, poor Ruger. Oh, poor Ruger. I'm so sorry."
He was like, you don't even know what's coming to you, buddy.
I did the same thing with Copper, my dog, before we got him fixed too. I'm like, I'm sorry,
I'm
man.
sorry, did I
I
make
have
you-
to do it.
How come when you
Well, and
neuter a
then
dog,
my
it
dad
doesn't
said
change the
something.
name?
What?
It changes when you neuter a bull. It changes the name to a steer. Well, how come when you neuter a dog, it doesn't change the name?
Like a
The same
D?
thing with a horse. It goes from a stallion to a gelding.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's an interesting question. Do they call him? What do they? How
What
do they
we
call
what
him?
do we
In
call tuna when they get neutered?
What do we call what?
tunas?
Did you
when they
say
get
tuna?
neutered?
What do we call tuna when they get neutered?
Unix.
Level. That's what we call them.
Level
That's
salad.
They're both just clacking together like one of them clack things.
all right. We are at the
Knockers.
point where we are talking about my nuts again. This happens about once every episode, Kryz.
No, it's all right.
Usually.
Well, that's-
You know that
that's
the
hot topic.
Newton desk toy that's a bunch of balls that are just clacked together.
Yes,
He's a just two balls on that one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my dad. It was funny because my dad, before he left, he was like, "Well, how would you feel if you were about to go get neutered?" And Tuna was like, "I already did. He's like, I did it already."
Well, I wonder if they could just do the vasectomy style thing on a dog. instead of actually just taking it all away.
Taking
you know
them
what I mean?
out. Yeah, I
You know,
guess
so
they
they could, at least they
could,
could walk around with
yeah.
something. You know, not. I feel like
Weren't they talking about like little silicone implants
I don't
to replace
for
them with?
dogs.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never heard of that.
See, it like
I
I
think
couldn't
I
imagine
heard it.
myself with. I couldn't imagine myself without balls if they neutered us like dogs.
That would be weird, man.
You know, it'd be
maybe a
even
little
worse.
bit.
You know, it'd be even worse if they neutered you like a sheep or a bull.
Oh yeah,
Just wrapping a rubber band around it and letting it fall off.
That
it
is
hurts
like-
thinking about it.
The
Oh my
contraption that's used to install that band is just it's medieval, man.
It's interesting. Yes.
It's medieval.
This is some medieval shit that happened, you know. It's
The worst thing that traumatized me as a kid is we had bred Rottweilers, and every time our dog had puppies, my dad would clip the tails. That would always that one traumatized me as a kid.
yeah, but when they're
They do the same thing with Aussies.
they don't
and-
have feeling in their tail up and for quite some time after they're born.
Yeah, but it still just was weird to me. I could watch him cut the dew claws off of dogs or chickens, the spurs, stuff like that. But I can watch him slaughter a chicken. But cutting the tails off puppies, it just hurt me.
Yeah,
Hurt my
they
soul.
do the same thing with Aussies, and well, then there's a lot of breeds, but we just happen to have Aussies. But there's some breeders now that don't dock tails anymore on Aussies because it's still the breed standard, which is really outdated. Because the only reason they docked Aussie tails was because they were working dogs and it was safer, so that they
Yeah.
didn't get hurt while they were herding. That's actually why they used to dock their tails. Well, if they're not herding, if they're not being used for work, then it's not a safety issue anymore. So you're just docking for the sake of docking, which I don't necessarily agree with. I would never dock a tail or clip an ear or alter them in any way for aesthetic or breed standard reasons. But there's still a lot of, I mean, our boys were docked. I mean, we wouldn't have chosen that, but we couldn't.
Do they take
There
their
was no
dew
way.
claws too?
Not their dew claws, no.
Yeah, mine's docked,
Just their
no
tails
dew
were
claws.
docked, but we talked to two breeders, and one of them, she did not dock tails. She's like, if they're born with a tail, they keep it. Some of them genetically are just they're born without tails because but some of them are born with tails, and we would have preferred a tail because Scott had a tail, and we were kind of partial to it. And we had one breeder that did not intentionally dock, and another one that did, which is who we ended up. And we did ask her, we were like, is it possible to request not docking? And she said, well, you'd have to commit to the puppy before, because she docks them literally like when they're like 3 or 4 days old. I mean, they're so
they can't
little.
feel it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
their,
she's like,
their
you have
eyes
to
aren't even
commit
open
to
yet.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's like, you'd have to commit to a certain puppy to request that dog. And we were like, well, we weren't picking based off of color. We were waiting on their personalities to develop, so it wasn't possible for us to prevent a docking. So, but we didn't request the docking. It's just what the breeder did in general.
I will say, aesthetically, I do prefer like the dogs that have the bobtail. I like the look of those, like your dogs, Rottweilers, pinchers.
See, I guess because we had Scotch, and he was an Aussie, but he had a tail. We were just kind of partial to it. I think
Yeah,
that was just normal for us.
But he was full size though, wasn't he?
I just
Yeah,
full
he
size
was.
think it
he
makes
was
them look
standard.
tougher,
Mhm.
Yeah,
more intimidating,
a
Did I tell you
Rottweiler
about
with a
Piper
dock
from
tail
one
definitely
time?
looks tougher.
more sleek, streamlined.
I don't know if I ever told y'all about the Piper. So Piper, she said one time, she told me that she wanted to get one of those. Like, there's so many dogs now that they're making them smaller, right? Like Aussies, you can get them in toys now. And Piper wanted she's like, I want like one of those mean looking dogs, but I want them small. She's like, like a Doberman or something. I'm like, so you want a min pin?
I had two
And
of
she's
those.
like, what's a min pin? I'm like, it's literally like a tiny Doberman. And so I showed it to her, and she's like, no, that doesn't look like, lethal at all. And I'm like, but
You can get them with the dog.
Doberman, and you
Bob
shrunk
tails.
it.
If you have a miniature
She's like, a bulldog. She's like, a bulldog. And I'm like, then you want a Frenchie? And she's like, ugh, no.
what does she want? What do you want, child?
She wants the Honey I Shrunk the Kids
Yeah.
Ray and a
She
full
wants
size.
A mini Doberman that doesn't look like a min pin. That's what
They
it is.
literally look like Dobies, just small.
That's what it is.
Just
Yeah.
Chihuahua sized Dobermans.
It's like, no, I want a
Yeah.
small Doberman. Like, that's a small Doberman.
She wants like a
she's not,
Doberman mini.
she's
or
not
a-
all the way there sometimes.
She wants it to stay a puppy.
Sure. Yeah.
Those dogs are prone to be mean too. Min pins.
Oh, all small little dogs. Like
They're like-
Chihuahuas are just angry
Yeah,
little
Chihuahuas
things, man.
are terrible.
Yeah.
They're-
Terrible
Fuck
dogs.
Chihuahuas.
Yeah, they're like a mix between Dobermans and Chihuahuas. You know,
So mean.
I have yet
You
to
should
hear-
run into
yeah, I
a
like-
Chihuahua that's friendly.
They're
All of a
all
sudden, you walk
massive.
off, they're showing their teeth already, and it's just like
Yeah.
already trying to go
You
after your
You should
fingers.
meet
It's like,
ours.
damn.
They're like 8-pound balls of fluff
Chihuahuas.
that talk a lot of shit.
Chihuahuas are responsible for the most human bites per year out of any breed of dog.
I thought it was
No,
Dalmatian.
I believe that.
I thought it was
it's,
Dalmatian.
it's Chihuahuas, man.
Oh,
People are
No,
like,
that's
oh,
not
pit bulls.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm not
no,
surprised at all.
That wouldn't-
it's Chihuahuas.
Yeah,
I
it
miss
doesn't
everything.
surprise me. Not even a
That
little
makes
bit.
sense. That makes sense.
I was saying, Ash, that Chihuahuas are responsible for the most human bites per year.
Did you hear it?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I was like, I missed everything that happened after what I said because y'all all froze on me. So as soon as over there like responding, I'm like,
Thanks for that promo there, Jay. Appreciate it.
Are you on the old hotel Wi-Fi?
yeah, I'm on the Airbnb Wi-Fi, and I asked Tuna to share his data with me, and obviously
Ooh.
he said no. So,
That is a good question, Jay. I like that.
So-
Kryz, what is your favorite piece of art you have created so far? Would you say?
Ooh, my favorite piece of art I've
Ah.
created so far.
Did you draw those
Ooh,
middle fingers in the back, or are those ducks?
No, those are middle fingers, Mickey Mouse middle fingers.
Mickey
For some
Mouse,
reason,
okay.
I have a obsession with Mickey Mouse middle fingers. Oh, actually, you know what? I have the artwork right here on my iPad. Actually, hold on.
Yeah, I'd love to see
Let me
it.
show you guys.
I'm on this little bitty tiny screen.
I thought they were ducks with their middle fingers, so I like it.
You got to get the I.
I even have my glasses on.
You're a
Pro
DC.
patch.
You like DC comics, yeah?
Yeah, I like DC. Marvel too. I'm just your regular standard nerd. Star
Yeah.
Wars.
You
know.
Batman's been one of my
Mm.
favorites for a long, long time.
Yeah, so I drew a
Marvel
Batman one,
nut.
which is it came out really good. Show it this way, see if you guys see it. But this is my Batman one that I drew.
Oh my
On
god,
Procreate.
that's amazing!
Holy crap,
Um,
dude!
I didn't.
Holy
Then
cow!
one of my friends, she's a teacher, and she one of her students had a case of ED, and she made a promise like, if you can behave, I'll get you a signed picture of Spider-Man. So I created a picture, and then I put from Spider-Man to so and so from your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I
Oh.
took off the font because I'm going to try to get these in print.
Yeah.
Let's see, why is it not
Okay.
turning?
ED. I'm picturing something completely different when you said ED.
Emotionally disturbed.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what Rebel was thinking.
I
Hold
was like,
on,
wait,
let me-
what?
hold on a
I saw
second.
Skep do the same thing.
I don't know if you can see it that much.
Spider-Man, that's
Dude.
dope.
That's really cool.
You're really freaking talented, man.
And then
Holy
my
cow.
favorite one is I'm trying to get these in prints. My uncle was KIA in Vietnam, and I'm named after him. So I created this like Vietnam portrait that I want to blow up and give it to my father, but I haven't had the time to do so. But this is one that I made for him.
Wow.
Oh,
Bro,
that's so
that is so
cool.
dope.
That's
Nice.
great.
So like that's my favorite one that I want to blow up and actually like put it in like a wood frame and stuff, but just haven't had the time to do so.
Wow.
Yeah. What else?
You're incredibly talented, man.
Mm-hmm. That's
Thank you.
amazing.
Holy cow. Those were some phenomenal pieces of art.
Our youngest, she's on. She'll be 11 in December, and she's been in Procreate for. I think we finally got her on Procreate about a year ago, and it's been really cool to watch her develop those skills. And just like she'll take, pictures of like a cherry or a strawberry or something like that, and then she'll come to us and she'll show us like, here's the stock that I used, and here's the one that I drew. And so yeah, it's so cool watching you guys do that, because I'm a designer, but I can't draw for shit. Like I'm not creating anything from scratch like that, and I don't know where she gets it from, but what you guys do is just crazy. Like so cool.
Yeah, because before I did the digital art, I actually, regular canvas, drawing paper, markers, pencils, erasers.
knows
We
how
go
to
through
do it.
pencils
Mhm.
like left and right. But this is a lot cleaner too, because if you mess up on regular piece of paper, you have to take the white out and go a little bit slow to erase it. But yeah, I don't know where I got it from either. I just sit down and just it's good for me for just escape for a couple hours and just
This is
go after it.
My friend who I've served with. He's retired now, but I bought this.
Oh, that's
off
awesome.
Of him.
That's so
And
cool.
He does a lot of nautical, and then I want to say late 80s to early 90s, almost skateboard style art.
Okay.
And he's local here, but I bought this off of him. It's actually painted on wood.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really
So
cool.
there's been a longtime follower in my stream. Haven't seen him in a while. Still talk to him on Instagram all the time, but he actually paints and does all that type of stuff. And I found one of the paintings, and I was dude, I fucking love that. He sent it to me.
Oh,
need to
I
hang it up
remember.
in
You
my
had
key-
it
yeah,
behind
you-
you at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you were in
So, and-
Japan, I think.
Yeah, it's
wasn't it?
in my cube still. I just hadn't hung it up, but it is still in my cube, sitting there. But yeah, because I'm abstract kind of guy. I like more of the abstract type art, and he just had one, and I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was P. Miller.
Awesome.
T. Miller.
My daughter did this one. We were talking about how we all met at Blackout. This one, because this game was such an important game to me.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Me one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's cool.
And you got lights behind it too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I put the lights in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Behind it.
Yeah, I like that.
So, Kryz, just FYI, I'm going to be hitting you up, my guy.
Oh yeah, hit me up, man.
I don't know how often you listen to the podcast, but
Oh, I've listened to a couple episodes.
So our oldest, Scotch, the dog that we were referring to, he passed away. He was 13 years old, almost 14. We had to put him down, and she was like, I want to get a tattoo or whatever. And I was like, okay, this will be the one time that I would cave on something, when she's under 18.
She'll be 17 this month.
And so trying to find a design,
okay.
And she's kind of come up with something, and it was like, okay, so I'm probably going to be hitting you up to see about getting a design from you for that.
Hit me up, man. Yeah. Definitely.
So, because I think she wants to do a paw print, but in the paw print be like him.
Okay.
Almost a realism of him.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
That'd be
Like different photos in each section of the paw. That'd be dope.
No,
it would be the paw and then a face in the paw, right?
His face.
Yeah,
his face.
Like a window almost, right? The paws like a window.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Because they actually did his paw prints for us before. We had him cremated, but they did his paw prints for us before they cremated him. So they grew up together. We got him whenever he was a year and a half old, and Piper was 5 or 6. And then we finally had to put him down this last July, and she'll be 17 this month. So that was her first dog. They grew up together. And so she was like, I really want to get a tattoo with Scotch. And so they agreed to get a matching tattoo. And I was like, the one thing I ask is please don't go get one of those really off the wall, literally off the tattoo shop wall paw prints. Don't do that.
Yes.
Pop art.
Do something that's been meaningful. So they've been searching for someone who could do that for them. So
yeah. I could definitely come up with some ideas for sure. Yeah,
that'd be so
of course. Yeah. So I learned my lesson. I got my first tattoo when I was 17, and it just.
I was 16.
Oh yeah, you were 16. I didn't even need a. So is the law still 17? Your parents would have to sign a form or something like that in order for you to get it, or
I think
under
so,
18, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have to sign a form, and I just went in. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to get this.
My boyfriend was a tattoo artist. Garrett Tuna paid to have them covered up later.
because they were initials.
This is mine right here. This thing is 25 years old.
Oh wow.
That's my
I can't show mine.
Tattoo. It was done by a what do you call him? Not a professional, but not the amateur. He was a apprentice. Yeah. For $40, and I got $40 worth of a tattoo.
Talk about pay for what you get.
It's actually a little better than than $40, but it's definitely got some age on it now. It's 25 years old, so
Mine's 23 years old.
Yeah.
No.
I
Same
definitely
thing,
didn't make a good choice. My first one, though, I would think.
I think the first one is just everybody's excited to get one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I don't care what it's. I had a crazy idea. I saw something on like Google, and I just went to the artist. I was like, I just want this, and he's like,
Yeah.
okay. And he was fairly new too. He's only been tattooing for like a year and a half. So
Yeah.
it's faded. It's got the line work. It's crazy. It is line work like that breaks out the outline that just like strays away. It's just crazy. It's insane.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
been trying to figure out how to cover it up, but that's the thing. The first one I was just more like, go big or go home, and I instantly regret that because it's like my whole arm now I have to cover up.
Do y'all
wanna-
remember what the most popular tattoo for women was in like the early 2000s?
Was it like a
Butterfly.
rose or
Butterfly on the
something?
foot.
No,
Was it a butterfly on the lower
What do they
back?
call
A
it
tramp
now?
stamp?
They call it a
Tramp
tramp stamp. That was my first tattoo.
Oh no!
outside of your
It's
boyfriend.
not. It's not a butterfly. No, I had.
Oh.
Well, no, you're right. You're right. My first tattoo in like a tattoo shop was like the tramp stamp, but it's not even a butterfly. It's actually my name because I was like, oh, you spell my name, really uniquely because my name's not spelled with an L-E-Y. It's spelled with that Y, and I thought that was really cool back then, apparently. And I was like, yeah, so make my name look really cool and put it on my lower back because that's where everyone was getting their tattoos in the early 2000s. As a female, was in their lower back. That was the cool thing. And then we went to a comedy show one time and they asked about people that had tramp stamps. I looked at him and I was like, if you raise your hand, I will fucking kill you.
Did he?
Did he?
Of course he did.
So in high school, I was in a metal band, and I thought that it would be a good idea if I got the band logo tattooed on my tramp stamp spot, lower back.
Wait, Rebel, you got a tramp stamp,
no,
dude?
no, I don't have one. I don't have
He
one,
said
but I
he
thought
thought
that
it would be cool.
Oh,
At the
I'm
time,
thinking
yeah.
he's like, so I did it.
But I'm like, in my defense, in the early 2000s, it wasn't called a fucking tramp stamp. Okay, I did it when it was cool.
Yes, it was.
It was cool when I did it.
It was
Just
still
because
called a tramp
everyone
stamp.
else doesn't think it's cool anymore doesn't mean it wasn't when I did it.
It was even when it was cool. It was still called a tramp stamp.
Yeah,
No,
most
it
dudes called it
wasn't.
that.
It was okay. Well, it wasn't
That's how we
as
knew when the
popular
chick put
back
out.
then. Oh, okay.
I thought it was so you didn't forget who you were behind.
Oh,
I was gonna say that, but I was like, no.
No, because a lot
She
of
did
girls
have
got the
a
butterfly.
name tattooed back there.
oh,
I
yeah,
literally do. I
butterflies.
still do. I need to get it covered up or something at some
I
point.
still look at it.
Wow.
I'm gonna get it.
You know, I
Nah,
honestly
I wanna get
forget
a
that I
tramp
have
stamp.
it because I've had it for so long that I don't. I honestly forget I
Forget.
even have that stupid
Yeah.
thing. Otherwise, I probably would have covered it up by now. But
Yeah, I forget
I-
I have the ones I can't
No.
see.
yeah, I can't see it, so I forget that it's there.
I
He has
always
a
forget
M.
about the one on my back.
He has an M on each butt cheek, so when
Me
it
too.
bends
Yeah,
over, it
I have
spells
one on my
mom.
back. I always forget.
When he's
I
on his
like-
head, it says "Wow."
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'll look in the mirror and I'll be like, oh, I forgot I had a tattoo back there.
Wait,
I
Chris, you
was
got a
going-
tramp stamp?
No. I got a tattoo. I got to know. I mean, this is bad, but
Not a barcode,
I-
right?
no.
Okay.
It's remember, you guys remember the Affliction shirts with MMA?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, yeah, I got, I went on vacation. I got a little couple of drinks in me, and I was like, I want to go get a tattoo. I had an Affliction shirt. I had no idea what I was going to get. I walked in. I was like, I have space. I was like, okay, cool. He's like, he goes, what are you going to get? And I was just like, took off my shirt, and I was just like, can you just do this sign? So it's just the fleur de lis upside down. So it's the Affliction logo.
The George St. Pierre one, huh? You had the George St. Pierre shirt on, didn't you?
I forgot which one it is, but George
I
St.
have-
Pierre is my favorite fighter.
Of
So-
all time. Yes.
Oh, GOAT. Yeah, he is my favorite number one.
Yeah, I was scrolling through Instagram the other day and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that fucking tattoo. Like legit, I completely forgot about that motherfucker.
I have
Yeah.
lips on my ass, and my first tattoo is down here. I just forget I have them.
You have lips on
I
your
have one in
ass.
each hip.
Yes.
Like, I have one on each hip. Like, where if I was to wear like even a bikini, it would cover that where the strips of the bikini are. It would cover it. And even those, they're in the front, and I still forget about them because they're so small, and I just never like really see them. But those were the ones that my ex-boyfriend tattoo artist did. They put them there because that way, even if I wore a bikini around my mom, she would be able to see them. So we covered them up with other things, but that's where they're at. So they're like so inconspicuous now that like I just forget that they even exist.
And I had to pay to cover them up.
I mean, you didn't have to. You kind of offered.
I was tired of looking at her naked and seeing some other dude's initials. It's like, we're going to the tattoo shop, and I think we were there within 3 days, and then motherfuckers were covered up.
I never
I was,
understood
tired of,
initials.
I was tired of my ears touching some other dude's initials.
Oh
I had
my
a-
god.
Wear
We don't
long
have
sleeve
to like.
shirts. Oh, sorry.
No, you did.
No. He's
She was
being an
yelling at
idiot.
He's stepping over the line.
Talk
right
over
now.
him, please.
No, I used to have to wear long sleeve shirts because my grandmother's very old school. She just didn't like tattoos, and I used to have to hide it from her. Even like in 98-degree weather, I'm coming out with a thermal on, and they'll be like, "Aren't you hot?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." Until like I was, what was I, 25, and I made the mistake of just like going to grab for something, and my shirt went up a little bit, and she just had a conniption. She started crying. She was just like, "I can't believe you," and I was just like, "I'm sorry." I didn't even know what to say.
My grandma was
funny.
one of the first people to get her eyebrows tattooed on and permanent makeup done, like way back in like the 70s.
Oh, really?
And every time I would get a tattoo, she'd be like, oh, "That's cool, but don't get another one, baby. Don't get another one." I was like, "You got tattoos on your face. Mine are on my arms, chest, and back."
You could say like my grandma's got face tats, bro.
Yeah, she had
Yeah,
fake-
right, yeah.
My grandma had fake tits and face tats.
Oh my god.
Fucking Dolly Parton over here.
Yeah, my grandmother had to get used to them because she was a little upset when we would get them.
She wore a beehive well into the 80s.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, Dolly
Wow.
Parton.
My dad still, he was like, "You didn't always have your nose pierced, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, Daddy, I always." I'm like, "I've had my nose pierced for like 10 years." It's like I took it out for a little while when I joined the military just because I was taking it out more often than I was wearing it, and the retainer was a pain in the ass. So I was like, but as soon as I got out of the military, I re-pierced it. But yeah, collectively, I've had it pierced for like 10 years. But you could tell he was just like, he didn't really like it. He didn't say it, but you could tell he didn't like it.
It's that look like, how long have you had this? Say to my dad and my sister.
Yeah.
He'll be like, "Did you always have tattoos behind your ear?" And she's like, "Yeah," because she always had her hair down. So he had no idea. He's like,
Mhm.
My daughter did a bunch of poke tattoos on herself when she was like 15.
Oh my
I'm
god,
noticing new ones
Piper's
all the
done
time.
that.
I'm
Piper's done
still
that.
noticing new ones, and she's not doing it anymore.
I have one of those too. Two actually.
I'm
When I was
glad I'm
younger.
not the only one. We're not the only ones because like
Mhm.
Piper did that. She's got like on one of her middle fingers, she's got like 3 little X's. I don't know. I don't remember what they stood for. It was like in her
Her love
Harley
for Vin
Quinn
Diesel.
era. No, it's like
Triple
her
X.
her Harley Quinn kind of era kind
Oh.
of thing. And
Okay.
but so she's got like the 3 X's right there, and then she's got another one somewhere else. And I noticed it long before he did because I think he just probably assumed it was probably pen because teenagers like to write on themselves with pens in school. But
3
that
X's
was one
on
that never changed.
the shift finger would be cool as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Or you could just do
Yeah, no, but the 3 X's would still be cooler, I think.
I like the one where it's
Right now, she could just do this, and
mustache.
it would work just fine.
like the little mustache we see now. People get the tattoo on their
Yeah.
finger.
Yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
cool.
Oh,
So they're
my
like
God.
smoking a cigarette like that. I used to the little mustache.
I don't need it.
No, I know, but it's like the cool little, the old school, the curl ups on the end and stuff.
I know someone who doesn't have tattoos on the outside of their body. They have it in their lips just because.
What?
Yep.
They just wanted to experience it, but their parents wouldn't allow it, so they did the inside of their lips.
That sounds
Yeah,
terrible.
but I heard that those disappear after a while.
Yeah, they fade away.
Sounds
Yeah.
painful.
Yeah.
They're all frozen for me.
Or people
so.
that tattoo their eyes.
You're frozen.
Oh,
Oh, we're
I can
back.
only imagine how that feels, man.
The black alien guy, Anthony
Oh.
Lafredo.
Yeah.
I just found out that he has his teeth dyed purple as well. I don't know how they did it, but he has his teeth dyed.
He probably removed the
Oh,
enamel on his teeth and
mm.
dyed them. Now they're probably just going to rot out of his face eventually anyway.
Is that the guy who's missing ears?
Yeah, he cut his
His
ears off,
nose
split his
and his
tongue,
nose
cut
off too?
Nose,
3
two
fingers,
fingers,
on each. 2 or 3.
two
yeah.
fingers. Yeah,
two
he's
and
like
a
this.
thumb.
He wants
So
to do.
weird.
He wants to do a leg.
He must have cut his leg
He wants-
off.
He wants to amputate a leg and have a prosthetic.
I don't get it.
I'd like
Okay.
why? Like
So
you're
ableist.
fortunate to have their legs.
Yeah,
Why
why?
would you?
I
Can
know.
somebody commit that, dude?
Could you
It's-
imagine somebody who lost a limb and didn't want to
I know.
lose the limb, and this guy just voluntarily wants to take it off?
And he's
Yeah,
going to piss
I
off
mean-
about 90% of the amputee veteran community.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but like it's one of those things again. Like he's not hurting anybody but himself.
True.
you know, Let him do it.
As long as they don't
Although he
hand him-
does like suffer the consequences. He gets kicked out of restaurants all the time just for his looks and shit like that, and he just takes it all in stride. He doesn't raise a fuss or nothing.
as long as they don't hand him a
Exactly.
handicap sticker, he can cut his leg off. I'm good with it.
How
Yeah. That's,
Facts.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a different country, so I mean. I
Oh,
don't know
that's
how
right.
their
What
laws
country
would
is
be.
he in? Like
I think
Colombia, or
Spain.
Spain, or
So does he
like
have
South
any
America.
issues like breathing? Since he took his nose off.
Kind of like a pug.
I
could
don't know. The
imagine.
dude's freaking
Yeah.
jacked.
I mean,
He's jacked, so I would probably not. It would actually be better, probably, because there's nothing restricting it. It's just straight.
yeah, that's true too.
But he's got
straight
less
exhaust on
of
there.
the because your nose has like hairs all through it inside
But that
help
protects.
filter.
But that protects you. Yeah, that
Yeah.
protects you.
Dude,
Could you imagine be like
could you-
riding around and like a bug just flies straight in your
Facts.
What do you do? What do you do?
It literally goes straight to his brain, bro.
What are you gonna put you're gonna put your head up and just go?
It just goes
You can't
straight
cruise.
into his fucking nose.
Be like
Nose
a
hole.
bug flattened on a windshield. It's just-
He looks like a skeleton. You know how if you look
How
at the
about his
skull, there's
ears?
no-
He doesn't have a lobes.
Yeah.
He just has.
Do you
how
wanna
does
see
he-
it?
How does he wear sunglasses, man? There's nothing like to sit there.
I don't
on.
think he wears sunglasses.
Yeah, let's pull him up again. I know we pulled him up once before, but it's definitely interesting to look at for sure.
now that would have to affect your hearing.
Oh yeah, dude, for sure. You
Letting
probably
the lobes
can't hear
off.
as well
Yeah, that would have to affect your hearing.
because these are just like little, literally like sound capturing devices and such.
Y'all have fun. I'm not clicking it.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
He's got his lips cut.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well,
His lips removed.
Yeah, that was the point too. You see his original photo.
That was him to the left. That's his original photo.
yeah.
Oh my goodness!
He
Wow.
was a good-looking man. Man, and
Very
now look at
good.
him.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Hell.
He wasn't unattractive before. Like
And
But
now-
what's the goal? What is he trying to
He wants to
accomplish?
be a black alien.
Oh my gosh,
Just-
man.
how does
So,
he know that
wait,
that's
he
what
has
black
something in his
aliens even
wrist, too?
look like?
He has a lot of implants around his body.
Yeah, he's had a bunch installed and removed. Like I don't even think he's got like all these facials in anymore. Excuse me.
That has to when he gets older. That's gonna take an effect. No,
Has to
I would
take it
think
effect.
so.
I would.
You
Yeah.
know?
because gravity is gonna have to. Wow. I mean, wow.
Gravity's gonna do its thing.
Yeah.
This
Especially
one
like his eyebrow
crazy,
part.
too.
Yeah, they just sag over his eyes eventually.
They're gonna sag over his eyes eventually. Yeah.
Well, look, if you see this one, he don't have any implants in. He gets them removed and stuff. Sometimes his body will straight up reject them.
So his head is just like this
Wow.
sagging flap of skin.
And
over
and
his
who's
skull
doing
now.
these operations though? That's the question.
People
Just
who will take the
Body
money.
modifier,
Yeah.
Lord have mercy.
3 fingers.
I
Some people
couldn't-
do anything if they get paid for it.
I mean, his nose is just so wild looking, man. It's just so. Well, there's
This
a
is
picture of him
before he
with
cut his nose off.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of looks
That's
like
a different
Prometheus, so he
guy.
could have stood there.
I think that guy looks different.
Oh, that's the same dude.
Well, his eyes are tattooed here, but he has a
Yeah,
nose.
he looks different.
There he has
But
a
even
no
his,
nose.
The tattoos on his
even the
lips.
shape of his face, though. Look at the shape of his face. It looks like
I mean, it's
Well, he did lose some weight too
It's
because
probably
he's
all-
more in shape now.
probably all fucked up because all the shit that he's done to himself. You know, all the scarring. I can imagine there's tons of scarring and constantly healing.
That's- I don't know. I kind of feel bad, man. That's tough.
He did it to
He's a
himself,
bad dude.
so I don't feel
he
bad.
likes it. Yeah, I don't understand.
That's wild, man. I'm still stuck on the bug thing. Like, it
Where's that fucking bug?
just flew
He's
right
from
into
Spain.
the hole.
Yeah, if he's from Spain, he's got to stay off the Vespas. He's not gonna be able to cruise around.
No,
You
even
know?
worse, he's from France.
France.
Oh, he's
So,
French?
I mean,
Yeah,
Oh, that's even worse.
yeah,
wow.
stay off the Vespas.
But can you imagine a gnat going up his fucking nose?
Yeah.
Or in his ear, like that little tiny.
That's
What are you
I'm
gonna do?
saying.
Oh, get tweezers.
one of these goes up in his nose.
An evil.
Is he wearing a dress?
A silverfish or something just crawls up in there.
That's just so.
where-
I don't know what goes through someone's mind to want to do that. You know,
Mm-mm.
Weirdness.
like I couldn't imagine what.
Like
Now,
even
would it
this is
be-
extreme for me, you know.
That's yeah.
Yeah,
I would like to say I would want to know a psychologist professional opinion on this dude.
I agree. Thank you.
Like
Mhm.
after some sessions, like I would want to know what this dude gets diagnosed with because I guarantee you it's something.
It's got to be like body dysmorphia for one.
Exactly. It's the only
Like
thing
he
they
doesn't
could,
see
they could
himself
probably
the way he
classify
wants
it as.
to see himself.
Oh, I'm sure there's some other psychosis disorders they could get him with.
That's kind of dope, though.
And there's
Like
people
that's just
who
good artwork.
I think there's one guy who tries to look like the Ken doll.
Oh
He's
yeah.
had
Oh,
plastic
yes.
surgery as well.
Oh, yeah.
There's Barbie
fall
And
into
the
the same
Barbie,
category.
yes.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
search it
Mhm.
while.
Yeah.
I have
let me-
safe shirts is on.
Oh, you can. Okay, there it is.
Mhm.
Is it this dude?
I
I
believe
think
so.
it is.
I think there's
Yeah.
a couple of them, to be honest. So there's definitely been several of them.
Guy who looks
Human
like Ken
Ken
doll.
doll.
There you go.
Yeah.
There,
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
Yep.
Bro, that is like uncanny valley type shit, man. Like it's human, but it's not.
They don't even look real. Yeah.
Well, that Barbie chick is even like, like what she did to her waist. Holy shit!
It doesn't look real. You're right. It's like a wax figure or something.
Yeah.
Like it's not
They
even.
look fake.
Like
yeah.
one of those AI robot things.
Like at
What did
least
they
if they
look like
altered
before?
themselves to look like the Ken doll and looked like a real person, and they just looked, that would be one thing. But they don't even look like real people.
Looked totally
Right
normal
here.
before. Totally normal.
Is it maybe because they get addicted to these surgeries or altering their
Maybe.
image?
I
That's
think-
definitely a thing.
It could be like tattoos are addicting. They say, you know.
Yeah.
I think body modification is just, and plastic surgery is the same way. You know.
Here I'm
Oh,
just trying to
even
put it
even
on
his is his muscles
yeah.
implanted too?
Yeah,
he had
he's got
implants.
the.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Oh my god! I love this.
The
Oh,
simple
yeah,
guys.
people are so dumb.
There was one where
I
dude was
love this.
like leaking. It like burst.
This guy
was,
got
like,
knocked
infected.
the fuck out in a boxing match, though. This dude.
Well,
There
those
it is.
muscles
Leaking.
aren't muscle. They're
I
like
think
not
it's
even.
funny that they think that it's attractive, even that it's
Yeah.
like appealing in some way.
That's a type of body dysmorphia as well. It's got to be.
Well, the dudes, their muscles aren't even like strong. You know what I mean?
No.
No, not at all.
They're completely weak. They're just so inflated with that oil or whatever the synthol oil.
Yeah, it doesn't. Is that like
They're
if it
I will
burst?
say this looks better than this dude's for sure. I will say that. Like this dude looks like he actually might be a bodybuilder. That
No,
dude
not
looks
in
like
the
he's
shoulders.
a fucking
That guy looks like he spent too much time alone.
yeah. He looked like what was it, fucking Quagmire when
Lady-
he found out about the internet.
Oh,
The
geez.
Lady in the Water movie, that guy who had like the huge right arm, it was just massive, strong.
Now, if that burst, is there like an issue if it enters the bloodstream?
Oh yeah, there's a video of somebody like an infected muscle or something, and it was like,
Oh yeah,
leaking and shit.
it kills the muscle and over time it like rock hard. And it's kind of like cauliflower ear, where like it's at first it's all juicy and then it calcifies and gets
Yeah.
hard. Same thing with the muscles, and it will make it to where they can't even use them. They can't they're just
Oh.
locked.
Yep.
Like it solidifies them.
So they have to just
Wow.
keep injecting it for it to not do that, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that was like in my shoulder surgery. I actually had a fully calcified tendon in my shoulder that they had to remove
That's wild, man.
because that bone spur was pushing the calcified tendon, and that's what was causing that rotator tear.
Mm. Mm.
So yeah,
There
it's
was-
weird. Whenever I push on my shoulder, you can feel the gap.
Like
Wow.
with your finger, you can put your finger in it.
Oh yeah, I can feel right here. Super creepy.
Ew.
I can put my finger in a bullet wound and an exit wound.
So I
Is
can put
it-
my finger in my nose.
So do you have like a dimples, like a pocket
Yeah.
there, Rebel, where you
Yeah.
got shot? Yeah.
And then where some of the bullet fragments had to get cut out later, they were coming out of a hole there, and then they eventually it blocked it to where they couldn't get out. They had to cut it out, and that left a hole as well.
That's crazy.
But I was going to tell another story about my grandma. When I got shot, I was 21. And then I finally heard a story how my grandma, when she was a kid, she accidentally shot herself in a hunting accident. Never knew that. 21 years of my life, did not know my grandma had gotten shot in her leg as well. But it just was flesh. You know, her grandpa fucking didn't want to get in trouble. So her grandpa didn't want to get in trouble. So he like bandaged her up and told her to hide it.
Damn.
Oh man, my uncle, he freaking shot his leg whenever, so he's trying to clean shit or whatever, and he's like I know about gun safety, and then boom, fucking hits himself with a 12 gauge in the leg.
I've seen a lot of those videos like that, man.
People are dumb, bro. It irks me to watch that. And then y'all see that one video about that instructor?
Yeah,
I think he shot it. He shot himself. Yeah, in a classroom. Yeah. He was in a class and shot himself as he was trying to draw.
Yeah,
like you're in a classroom. Why do you even have a fucking round in it, you idiot?
Hers, she lent the gun up against the fence and then climbed over it. And when she got over on the other side, it fell over and shot her in the leg.
Jesus.
I mean, that type of stuff, okay, but like, you know, some of these other ones you see, it's just like, here's your sign.
When my mom got the call that I had been shot, she's like, "What did he do?" She thought I shot myself.
Jesus.
Just knowing me, like, because the year before I burnt my face off. I had 2nd-degree burns over 98% of my face. It's completely swollen shut. And the next year I got shot. So she was like, "Oh, what do you do now?"
Her confidence level was so high.
You know what, though? If my mom got that phone call, she'd probably say the same shit.
I probably would too.
Like, if I wasn't at work, yeah, Ashley and my mom would probably just be like, "What the fuck did he do? Like, what kind of dumb shit happened?"
What's TT, Jay?
Speaking of burns, have y'all ever had a steam burn?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Oh, my God. So we have this steamer. It's one that goes in the microwave, right? So it has the little vent on the top that you can vent it so that when you put it in the microwave and you run it, it should be letting the steam out of the top. So there shouldn't be as much steam built up in the bowl when you take it out. So I used it for potatoes the other day, and I thought that the steam thing was open, but apparently it wasn't open all the way. And so when I went to take the lid off, it snaps on the sides. So I unsnapped like this, and all the steam came out. And this thumb right here, right at my cuticle, the steam blew out. And that is the most excruciating burn I've ever. Like, I have burnt myself with irons before, like with curling irons. I have burnt myself with, like, you name it. I've burnt myself with it. This steam burn after 10 minutes of steaming potatoes in this fucking bowl and then opening it and the steam coming out, my entire thumb, it literally felt like someone was taking a branding iron and just holding it on my thumb, and you couldn't stop it. And so we were looking it up because Tuna's like, he doesn't overreact about anything, right? Like, he's like, unless I'm like bleeding out on the floor, he's not reacting. Like, he's like, it's fine.
Yeah, but even if you were bleeding out, I probably wouldn't freak out. I'd probably go into freaking cop mode.
But his level of concern is like not there. He's like, you're fine. Like, unless he can visibly see that you're damaged, he thinks you're fine. So I'm like Googling it. I'm trying to figure out, because I've never had a steam
on the
burn
floor,
before.
like,
right. I'm like, no, really.
Did you get a paper cut again?
Like, yeah. Like, no, really, this is serious. So I'm like Googling it, because I've never had a steam burn before. I'm like, baby, you don't understand. Steam burns can be really misleading because they can leave the top skin intact, but it can damage the bottom layers of skin more. So you don't really know until you like give it time. Sure enough, like 3 days, this has been like 3 or 4 days. My entire, like, this whole area, you can't see it, but this, like right where my cuticle is and underneath here, it's completely numb. I cannot feel it. And it's all bubbled and blistered up. Like this whole thing is nothing but like a bubble and a blister. So I showed it to him today and he like ran his finger over it. And this is how you know Tuna he acknowledges that it was more serious than he probably thought it was to begin with. He's like, huh, I really did blister up. You fucking think? Like,
My thumb is falling off. Like, it'll buff out.
that's his acknowledgement of it was actually probably kind of bad. Like 4 days later, like that was the proof he needed that it was worse than he thought it was to begin with.
Wet cotton glove.
I wouldn't grab the damn aloe. I was like, here you go. Just handed aloe vera. I was like,
an aloe on it. So as I'm Googling it, what's the first thing it says not to do? Do not put any oints or anything on it. It says to put it under cool running water for like 30 minutes, and that stops the burn process. In case anyone ever gets a burn, the best thing you can do is run it under cool, not cold. Do not put ice cubes in it. Cool running water. Or you can submerge it too, but they say running water is better. And I can tell you that it is, because if you submerge it in water, because I tried to do it because I was tired of fucking standing up at the sink. You have to keep moving it around, because I think the water immediately surrounding it heats up from the heat from your skin. So you have to keep moving it around. So anyway, you run it under for like 20 to 30 minutes. And that is not just for a pain reliever. It's also so that it stops the burning process in the layers of skin. So if it's continuing to damage and burn the skin tissue, running it under cool water will stop that process. So I did not know that before, but that was the most excruciating burn pain I have ever been in my life. It was really bad.
You haven't gotten hot oil on your hand before? Like boiling oil, like for frying something or whatever?
I've had like frying oil pop up on me.
Oh, then
but
I
that's like
spilt it on your hand or something?
No.
Yeah.
I've never like spilt it on my hand or whatever. No.
Yeah.
And so then she's running under the water and she goes, the water's not cool anymore. First thing that popped into my head, I didn't say it out loud at that very moment, but I was like, we're in the fucking South. The pipes are hot as fuck. Cool water's only going to last for like 2 seconds.
Well, it was also just because I couldn't tell how cold it was because my finger was so fucking hot. Because I put my other hand under it and I was like, oh, wait, it is actually pretty cool. It's just that finger.
Yeah, I used to work in a catering hall as a server. We used to get burns on our forearms all the time. One of my buddies, they put a hot chafing dish on top of a serving tray. And as he was walking around with it, the tray actually slid to where it was resting on from the back of his neck all the way to his face. And it took him a while to realize until the initial hit, dropped the whole tray down, and he had a whole line from here all the way to his mouth.
Holy
yeah. Whoa. It was pretty bad.
Our 16-year-old just started working at a pizza place for the first time, and so she comes home all the time, and she's like, "I got burned here, and I got burned here, and I got burned here."
Hands,
from all like the ovens and shit.
Worked at a fast food. My first job was a fast food Italian restaurant. We had to do breadstick and pans, and you'd have to reach up and grab the breadsticks, and when you get to the back of the pan, you'd reach. When it was busy, you'd get to the back before it had time to cool off. It'd still be fresh out of the oven. You're already at the back and burn the shit out of yourself.
Yep, all the time.
Well, that's like the damn Quiznos oven and the little racks they put them on. I was the world's worst about burning my fucking fingertips off because I would just be sitting there. I'm doing my thing during rush hour, and then I grab one. I'm like, well, fuck. I'm surprised I still have fingerprints.
My face burn. I was working in a town that had a Renaissance festival in it, and I was unemployed at the time. So I was like, I'm gonna learn how to fire breathe and then get a job at the Renaissance festival as a fire breather. I was drinking one night, being careless. I didn't do the precautions you're supposed to dampen yourself so you don't catch fire, and I didn't do that. And somebody brought kerosene for the first time and not lamp oil. And I thought it was lamp oil, and the kerosene burns longer. And I was like, I thought I was doing good. I was burning like spitting the longest flame, for length and duration. And all of a sudden the wind like blew it back into my face, and there was like 2-foot flames coming off my face. I stopped, dropped, and rolled. And like looking back at it, when I stopped, dropped, and rolled, I had dropped like a foot from a horseshoe steak. so I could have impelled myself too, dropping. And then I went, got the fire out, went, took a shower, and I came in. I was like, I'm just gonna go to sleep, you know. And I woke up the next day, my face was completely swollen shut, and everybody was like, "No, you're going to the hospital." All they did was give me an antibiotic cream and some like Darvocet at the time or some shit. Said go home.
See, I feel like Rebel, I would be cautious of spending time with you. I feel like,
Yeah.
1000%.
I feel like we would end up in some sort of
Stay
physical
away.
harm.
If I'm not sitting around a fire, just sitting, I'm one of the guys that's like, there's a fine line between danger and fun, and I fall off that edge to know where that edge is.
We would jump over the fire for sure. I would imagine.
I'm that way.
The last
Yeah,
time
like-
I had a camp out, somebody that was jumping over fire and they fell into it. So
I've walked on hot
You didn't want
coals
to fall into mine.
on purpose and by mistake.
the fire's eye
Mine's actually
burner.
built into the ground.
Yeah.
My fire pit, it's a brick fire pit built into the ground.
How big
So you
is
fall
it?
in that, you're falling on a hole.
Burning pit.
So what you're saying is that we can put
It's
ramps on either
probably-
side of it and
it's
jump
like-
it with our bikes.
That would be awesome. Yeah.
So as I'm
It's
falling
probably
down, I'm gonna
like-
be,
Yeah, it's probably like 3 foot by 3 foot by
Oh,
3
yeah.
foot.
We could totally jump that, dude.
Yeah.
see. I'd go to fall into that thing, and I'd be like, "Well, here's my first class ticket to hell, boys."
Go down.
First class one way ticket. There we go.
Yeah,
feel like-
last time I rode a motorcycle, I came back with like a scraped up face from endoing over.
See, that's what I'm saying, bro. You're like, I was endoing on a motor. Like, fuck, dude.
It was a
feel
pit
like-
bike too, which is even worse.
Oh, jeez. I think I've calmed down a little bit as I got older.
Yeah.
That's why
I think
don't
that was my
think
last
real-
accident. Knock on
last-
wood.
The last thing I came close to any kind of real danger was I had just bought a riding lawnmower, so I could. It was like a used one for like $400 off some guy who was moving, and I had to drive it down. My house is on a slope, a pretty good slope. It's definitely you could roll down it or sled down it kind of slope, right? And so I had to go back down to the back area behind my house and cut all the grass and shit. And I was like, yeah, I'll just, I'll get on the mower and I'll just ride the brake down, no gas. The mower deck's not on, So I'll go down to the part where I think it's like the least steep. Well, there's grass growing on the side of this fucking hill and shit. And once you open up a blade of grass, like moisture comes out, So
A little slick.
it got real slick, man. And I'm on the brakes on this riding lawnmower that's running. I'm like bouncing down the fucking hill. I'm jammed on the brakes. All the wheels are locked up. Like none of them, the brake wheels are locked up. They're not turning. And I have the wheels like trying to control it. And all I see is my neighbor's like fence post coming up, And I'm sliding down this fucking hill on this like John Deere fucking bright ass green and yellow mower down the fucking hill. I thought I was
Can
going to
somebody play the Tokyo Drift theme music right now?
Bro, I thought I was gonna flip this thing and like die. It was scary, man. After that, I never drove it down the fucking hill again. I talked to my neighbor and I was like, "Hey, can I drive like behind your house and around to the street?" Because it is steep as fuck, man. You don't realize it until you're sitting on the mower. I was sitting on it, looking down, going, "This looks kind of steep." All right, I'm just gonna creep down, and I'm riding the brakes. It's going fine, and then just fucking started flying, dude.
This is when we've gotten old, when our near-death experiences come from mundane pieces of equipment like mowing lawnmowers. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
Well,
I bought this.
I mean,
I almost died, man. I bought this fucking ride lawnmower.
No. You, Ash,
I mean, I have a side by side.
I can't.
you threw your back out folding clothes, so that's when you know you're old.
But to be fair, I was like 22 when that happened. So, I wasn't even old then. Like, I hadn't even earned it yet.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I've sneezed my back out a couple times.
I hadn't even earned it yet. I mean, at least this time I was 36 and I was picking up a 10-pound dog. Okay, so I think at least I had earned it at that point. Like 22 and picking up a folded like a towel. That's just not acceptable.
Yeah, it was probably Tuna's fault.
No,
God
definitely.
I mean, it was a young
I'm not
Tuna.
going to insert a comment there.
damn.
I could, but she might get mad at me.
Uh,
So,
Change
Kryz,
my
I've
tune.
been meaning to ask you. Can we try to like guess what you do for work? Would that be okay?
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
All right. What do you guys think? I have my thought. I'm gonna guess because I don't think anybody
shoot.
knows specifically, but I was wondering if we could guess. That might be.
where
I don't
are
have
you
a
at?
guess.
Flu.
You don't have a clue?
New York. Food service industry.
You moved?
No.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
babe, I moved
say.
because my AirPods died.
I'm gonna say. I feel like you're like a project manager of some sort.
No.
I'm going to say like IT or software.
No.
What do you think?
Insurance claim adjuster.
No.
Good
Banking.
one though.
No.
God,
Man,
I
we
work in
suck.
aviation as a line service technician.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, you can't even tell one of your kind.
So
Scap.
I couldn't, man, because I'm in the military. I do it on the military side, bro. Those guys are a different breed on the civilian sector, man. You work
These
you
are
civilian
your people.
airlines then, yeah? Or you-
Private company.
Okay.
Private aircraft.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So
look,
you're a
man.
nerd in every sense of the sense of the word.
No.
Whole nerd.
Maintainers are nerds.
Everything. Yep.
Love it.
Aviation maintenance people aren't nerds.
Anime.
Yes, you are.
Come on.
Only the electricians are nerds.
Yeah, when I'm about to take off and I'm on the taxiway, I'm like, oh look, there's an A380 there. We start pointing out stuff.
I know all this. Yeah. That's cool, man.
1000%.
I just was thinking
That's
something
very
with
cool.
Line
Yeah, I've been doing that
service.
for about 9 years now.
You have your
So
AMP?
do you get the hookup on private
No,
jets?
it's just strictly line service,
Okay.
like a ramp agent at a FBO.
Yeah. You do fueling and
No fueling.
no?
I used to do fueling. Yeah,
Okay.
about 5 years ago, I did fueling
Okay.
on top of the regular line service stuff. But right now, I work for a company that they do fractional share ownership of the aircrafts.
Oh
It's
yeah.
basically like Uber for
Yeah.
the top 1%. Yeah.
yeah.
So I'm
It's
curious.
$5,000 an hour to fly in them and shit like that, probably.
Oh yeah. Yep.
hmm
So I'm curious. So like Skep got like if you're in the military, you're kind of like directed in a certain way, and into how you end up in this. How do you, as a civilian, strictly civilian, end up in a career field like that?
Oh, good question. My best friend. He got in because one of his friends. This was more like a who you know type of situation. And at the time when I first started in aviation, I actually used to work for the Yankees for a company called Legends Hospitality. I was a supervisor for the catering department. I was doing that for a bit, but it was a seasonal position, so I needed something to fill in the gap. And they said, "Hey, listen, there's an available spot here at this company. You want to try it out?" I was like, "Sure." It's like I have no idea. It's like, don't worry, they'll train you. We'll catch you up, and that after that, it's just I've been there ever since.
Nice.
So
what did you grow up wanting to do? Is it related at all to what you grew up thinking you would do?
Not really. I've never even put mine into aviation until I got in there. It was one of those things. Was just like how I asked myself, I'm like, how the hell did I end up in aviation out of all things?
Yeah.
But no, I didn't want. What did I really want to do? I don't know. I've always been that person that I just never I don't know what to do in life. Sometimes,
Yeah.
like I don't have a plan. Like I'm just a bag in the wind, just going. I'm still trying to
I
figure
didn't
out
have
my
a
way.
plan.
That's
I'm
all
still
right.
trying to figure out my way, but no, I mean, with the whole content, video editing, I think I found my purpose. To be honest with you,
Mhm.
it's one of those things that I'm passionate
that.
about. So, and took me 32 years, but it's sometimes you find your way eventually.
Hey guys, I'm not the youngest.
Oh.
There you go.
No, I feel that though, because I did the same thing. Like I mean, the only difference was I went into like college thinking I knew what I wanted to do. Well, I grew up thinking I wanted to be like a doctor or something. Like I really wanted to be like a doctor, a neurosurgeon or a neuropsychiatrist is kind of like what I wanted to get into. And so I go to college, obviously, for like psychology, realize it takes a lot more than just an undergrad degree to do anything with psychology. And then end up somewhere really random in accounting because I'm a military spouse. And then now, 36 years later, I'm a business owner doing web design. Like you just never know. Like
Yeah, it's just
has
like weird how that
nothing
works,
to do
right?
with it. Yeah, but I feel like this is what I'm meant to do. It's what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, and you fall into it too. I think in a sense,
Mhm.
right? Like it's just out of
Totally.
nowhere. It's just like
Mhm.
you find this one thing and you just go with it, and you're like, oh, I could see myself doing this.
Yeah, sometimes when you try to make it work, because that's what I did. I was like, I knew I wanted to find something. I knew I wanted to run my own business. I wanted to be my own boss. Like I kind of I went into this rebel, after I joined the military, I went into this like rebel stage of life. I was like, I don't want anybody to tell me what to do ever.
Yeah.
So like I started trying to find ways to do that. And I was trying so hard to DIY myself into that I fell into something else, and that didn't feel forced anymore. So it's like totally by accident. Like it almost feels like the things you try to force into just aren't always necessarily the things that you're meant to be doing. Sometimes the accidental ones are the best.
Yeah, yeah. I was big into playing football and lacrosse in high school. So I was like, you know what? At first I was going to enlist. But my cousin was a recruiter. He was like, listen, give college a shot. You're good at playing the sport. Try it out in college and see if you like it. Did 2 years of college, and I was just like, this is not for me. I cannot do this whatsoever. And then I fell into the Yankee gig, and I did that for a bit. And yeah, I was just I think college is great, but it was just like some people. I'm not a good test taker. I'm really bad at taking tests, like really bad. Like I just get I just start running scenarios in my head, and I'm just like I psych myself out, if you will.
You get like test taker anxiety, basically.
Exactly.
You
Yeah.
sit down,
yeah. But I can learn.
I know the
I'm
info.
a visual learner. Yeah. I'm a visual learner. I'll pick up quick visually. But if I sit there,
like you're really good at it. Like if they implement it, if you had to implement it, you could do it 1000%. But like taking a test on it, completely different story. Tuna's the same way.
Well, it's not that I'm bad at taking tests. It's how the material is presented. Like military or whatever. I'm way behind the power curve in what they call for average of making rank or whatever, because the material is, fucking read it and then test on it. I can't read and then apply that because I'll lose it. But if somebody gives me a death by PowerPoint or they talk to me about it or whatever, like every school that I've ever gone to in the military, and I got taught the material, I've won awards in every single one of those courses. And even in school, like everybody's like, you don't take notes. And I'm like, no, because I retain it by that way, because if I write it down, it's gone. I'm losing everything that's happening. So, and it's more or less the way that it's presented to me. Cause like every time I've made rank, Ashley has sat me down and asked me questions. Like she knows how to be a cop. She knows everything you need to know about how to promote in the Air Force as a cop, because she's done it all to help me make rank.
I would read through his material and formulate questions based off of his material to ask him to kind of work him through. Because otherwise he was like, and I'm the opposite. Like both my degrees were 80% online. So I'm like, I only took classes on a physical campus because I was required to get my CPA. Like that was the only reason I sat in a campus classroom. Other than that, I'm very like, I'm a writer. Like if I write it down and I can remember it, but he's not like that. He has to talk through it. And that's not me. I don't need a lecture to remember something.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I did a couple courses online, and I actually aced my online courses for some reason. But yeah. But
That's interesting, because if you're not like with testing, because online is, I feel very much like that, where it's kind of it's more independent, like kind of like a test would be.
Yeah. Well, the online courses that I had those like video embed where you would watch videos and then you can go base off those videos and be like, whatever the material was, then, I take the test. I have it visually in my head of what I saw, and then I would do the test and ace it. And got a couple courses where I got like A+.
Nice.
I'm the opposite. Like if I watch something like too much, I'm definitely an introvert, but I'm also not a verbal, like auditory for me can get very overwhelming. So if I hear too many things at one time, I get extremely, like, what do they call it? It's not neurodivergent or, there's a word for it, but I get overstimulated very easily by auditory stimulation. So like I can't, like if you sit here and you try to talk to me for too long, I'm gone. Like I'm looking at you and you think I'm listening to you, but I'm not. Like I'm 1000% checked out. But if you give me a book in written words and I can read it and I take notes off of it, even if I just write it down verbatim of what I've read, I will retain that better than you trying to talk it to me. If you try to talk me through it, I'm done. Like he'll do it with directions or like, he's like, if you do this and then you do that and then you do that by the third step, I'm done. Like, I'm like, you lost me like 2 minutes ago. I'm done.
Yeah.
And he gets so frustrated because that's his way of communicating. He's like, well, then I don't know what to tell you.
Mine's reading comprehension. Like if I'm reading to myself, I have to do it like 7 times and still don't I can read a whole paragraph and couldn't tell you a word it said because
Cyber was like that.
I just can't focus on what I'm reading.
My
mind starts wandering.
I learn the best by 1, hands-on, and then 2, if I learn the material and then I teach it to somebody else. When I teach somebody else things, then I like it like cements inside of me, and then I just get more knowledgeable on it and better at it and learning like everything about it by teaching other people. I think. I don't know why.
No, that makes sense because do you find yourself like whenever you have questions about something, if you don't understand it, you find someone that you trust and you talk through it with them, and 9 times out of 10, by the time you get done, they haven't contributed anything, but you have a better understanding of it.
So I will fucking like, I will do that sometimes. I'm like, hey, tell me if this makes sense. And that's a common phrase I use. And then I'll work through something and they'll look at me like, that does make sense. But what I'll do is I get asked questions all day, every day. And if I don't know something, I have to like basically become an expert at it for somebody else so I can teach them. So I have to go figure out everything about it, all the materials ever written about it in the last decade, probably. And a lot of it's military stuff, that way I can sit down with someone and talk them through it like simply, you know what I mean? Not as complex as what I just ingested, but I have to ingest it and then regurgitate it in a simple format. That way I can explain it to people and basically like teach them what I just fucking learned a lot of the time.
That's a gift though, because I feel like I had to do that so much, and that's something that I feel like I'm good at too, unintentionally.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying, because you're like, you may not know the answer right now, but I can go figure it out, and once I figure it out, I can kind of break it down and explain it to somebody else and make it make sense. But I do that all the time, where I'm like, I may not know the answer to begin with, but I can go figure it out, and then like same thing with his course stuff. I'm like, I don't know any of these answers. But if I go read through his material, I can make it make sense in my brain and present it back to him in a way that makes sense. Yeah. Which is hard to understand, but it makes sense to me, I guess.
You're at mastery when you can teach it. I don't know. I think you get to a level where you have comprehension and understanding and you can explain it to somebody simply. That's, I don't know about, there are things that I'm mastery at, but not everything.
I'm at the point where I feel like I've learned more from TV and YouTube than I have from all of school.
That's my youngest.
Because that's the way that I take in information.
Yeah. YouTube is great, man.
YouTube and that's for anything too. So
yeah, you're absolutely right. YouTube.
Yeah, like you can do, if you have a problem with like Excel sheets or something, you can go on there, check it out. Finance, getting tips and tricks on anything. You could learn specific jobs that will, if you're interested in a subject, you'll definitely learn it for sure.
Pretty much everything that I've learned business wise has been like that. In the beginning was like, Google it. Find people who've done it before that are teaching how to do it, and you watch the videos.
I see it as like, Google is like the Library of Alexandria in a sense, where you can just research anything. And some people cannot read the forums. I love forums. because it's people who have tried to try to figure out a solution. They failed multiple times, but they're actually jotting it down step by step. And that's how I learned how to do all this. It's just forums, just like, okay, this is not working. What do I got to do here? And then there's people who will walk through the whole situation with you, and then you come out with a solution. And it's amazing what you can learn on the internet for sure. If you definitely got a knack for a specific topic, it's great.
If you take the wisdom of others like that, because that's wisdom, really, is what that is. You've failed at something so many times, but you learned a lot along the way, and then you have the ability to share it with somebody. That's a really high level of wisdom there, that you've learned something now, and the next person can skip all those mistakes you made and start where you're at. You know what I mean? That's pretty nuts, man. There's a lot of good wisdom out there to find, and you have it at your fingertips, which is crazy. I mean,
You just summarized business coaching. That's literally like what business coaches have done. Like they just have figured it out over the years, and they've gotten themselves to a point now where they're like, okay, it took me, like in my case, like I'm like 6 years into like starting a business, but only 3 years of running it full time, 5 years of like really putting my energy into it. And so there's like a lot of things that I've learned about it and you don't even realize it at the time either until other people start talking about it. And you don't realize what your level of knowledge is compared to them until they start talking about it. And you're like, oh, I can help with that, or I know the answer to that, or but it's easy to overlook because over, 4, 5, 6 years, you don't even realize all the things that you've taken in and learned. And then you go back and you're like, shit, where did I start? I started on fucking YouTube, like looking up how to do this exact thing, that other people are trying to figure out how to do. And now, but that's what a lot of people are doing. And some people are better at capitalizing on it than others. And that's how they're turning businesses into it. But that's exactly what it is just they've accumulated all this knowledge and wisdom, and they can share it with other people that need it, but not everybody knows how to go about sharing it,
Yeah. You get a lot of people that know how to organize their thoughts and their experience into something, and they become very good at being a mentor and that in whatever realm that they mentor in,
Yeah.
I tell my kids, he was talking about the Library of Alexandria. Excuse me. I tell my kids all the time, it's like, there's no reason for you to be failing in school. You have the knowledge in the entire world at your fingertips at all times. It's in your pocket at all times. Just Google it. Like if I had a fucking cell phone, a smartphone in school, I would have went to Harvard probably. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's my problem, Jay, too, is that sometimes you don't realize that. I see it a lot more and more now when I talk to people who are very good in their field of what they're doing. They can almost blow your mind with information, and you just feel, I don't know, I want to say inferior, but you're just amazed at like what they know. You know what I mean? And I feel like that too. I've 25 years of naval aviation experience, and sometimes when I talk to people about it, they're just like, wow. And I don't even realize that I know that information, I take it for granted.
Does that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably got so much knowledge on his area of expertise that it's just something that's normal. But when someone else hears it, they're just sucked into it. Like, holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, like
that's
even
common
as somebody
knowledge.
Like we've been married for over 18 years, right? So like I know so much about him and so much about what he does and what he likes and what he's interested in and things like that. But I'm like, there are some things that I don't realize, and I'm sure he feels this way about the stuff that I do on a daily basis too. But for me, it's like there's things that he knows about that I don't even know he knows about until he starts talking about it, right? Like we'll be like, we're watching, like I know he's a cop and this shouldn't surprise me. But even after 18 years of being married to a cop, we'll be watching a show or a movie or something, and he blurts out like the exact model and all the things of this gun, and that's not possible because this gun does this and that does that and all these things. And I'm like, It just really didn't dawn on me that he has all of that stuff in his brain.
See, that's just validation.
It shouldn't surprise me, but it does because it's stuff that I don't even know to not know about, if that makes sense. Like I don't even know to not know about it. And he's got all this stuff in his head about guns and all these things. And I'm just like, wow, I don't even think people realize how much they know that they take for granted that other people don't know. You know.
Mm-hmm. Howdy, MT.
Hello, MT.
I think that's like a characteristic of men in general. It's like we know a lot about a little, or we know a little about a lot.
A little bit a lot.
Something like that.
So in my career field, like just what we have to do on a daily basis and have to know, like we have dubbed it, like we are dubbed the jack of all and a master of none.
Yeah.
You know, because like when we're fucking deployed or whatever, I've learned how to become a fucking software engineer, a fucking IT guy, a fucking mechanic, like HVAC guy, like just all kinds of dumb shit that we have to do for ourselves because everybody's like, oh, fuck the cops.
Yeah.
It's good to have quality of traits, though. All different type of traits.
You know
Yeah.
the full quote of that?
What?
A jack of all trades, a master of none. I know it's supposed to be.
A jack of all trade. Where? Dang it. Where's the full quote? Jack of all trades, master of none is still better than a master of one.
Probably. Versatility.
But
Ability.
oftentimes better than a master of one.
Yeah. Ability. Well, I can't do that. Well, I could figure it out, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
someone can't
I
do
know
it.
enough.
Remember,
I know enough to get it done.
Yeah.
well, and if you don't, it's in the palm of your hand to figure it out.
Unless you're in a place that doesn't have service.
Or you're 17 and grounded.
Yeah. When you're on an exped deployment and you're in the middle of a fucking jungle of nowhere and there's nothing, like you just got to figure the shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know, like being from East Texas and Louisiana, that like there's a lot of places there's no service at all in the in the woods.
Oh, you drop me off in a fucking bundle of woods and give me a fucking compass and a topo. I guarantee you I'm going to find my way to civilization.
Oh, I'm following. Bandwagon all the way.
If you put me in
Leader
the woods,
bandwagon.
if you put me in the woods in a climate I know, like East Texas or something, I'll find it with nothing. Civilization, I don't even need a compass. But like if you put me in a jungle or something, yeah, I'm gonna need a compass. And you know, the nearest village is southwest. You know, I need some information.
The only reason I want a fucking compass and a damn map is so I can do section and resection and I can find the closest place so I don't have to fucking walk as far to find civilization because I'm going to find where I'm at and then find the closest place to me and that's where I'm going. Because fuck walking that far.
I might just stay out there. Fuck it.
I don't know if this is a man thing too, but like spatial awareness is something that I don't have. Like, and I feel like men in general have this ability. Like, so for like tuna, we could be going somewhere and all of a sudden a detour sign pops up, right? Like we can't take the way we're supposed to go. And so we have to detour. He can never have detoured this way before, but somehow in his brain, he can visualize that if he takes this road to that road, to this road, to that road, it somehow gets him around where he needs to go to spit him out in this general location.
That's a thing. Yeah.
I don't have that.
It's honestly
If
just
I
knowing
detour-
direction.
Yeah.
If you can know your direction, you'll figure that out.
Well,
Yeah.
You
There's
just
also,
gotta know your direction.
I wouldn't say that's a man thing though, because I've seen a lot of dumb motherfuckers that are even worse than you.
Well, I'm down. Like,
Damn.
Go with a lot of them.
I've literally, if I see a detour sign, I'm literally on the phone with him, and he is GPSing my current location so he can walk me through where I need to go next. Because if you detour me off the way I'm supposed to go, I am fucked. I will end up in the next state because I can't figure out where I'm supposed to go.
Damn.
Right out of high school.
I am the reason they
You
make
got
LT
maps
jokes
on
about
your damn
directions and
phone.
maps. No, like I'm literally the definition. If you look it up, why they make fun of lieutenants and their incapability of doing
Can't
directions. It's
spell
okay.
lost without LT.
I'm telling you, like I lived up to that one. I definitely lived up to that one.
Well, that was like
Right
when we got here today or whatever. Like, so we're in a different Airbnb than we had been. Whatever, starting to, get back to learning Baton Rouge again or whatever. But I went to the restaurant. I didn't use shit on the way back. I made it home.
I mean,
Like-
you just gotta have like a locked in like path in your mind, you know.
I've just
I'm
always
like, this street
lefts
looks
and
really
rights
familiar, and
and
it
times,
looks
yeah.
like 10 other streets.
I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Are you a visual guy? Like you like, okay, I got to turn at this store here,
Landmarks.
or do you like, are you like a street guy? Like
I can do both.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
a
landmarks.
I'm a landmark. Yeah,
I'm turning right at the McDonald's.
Landmarks.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I can do both.
streets
I think
and
that's
landmarks help though.
you see
but I
two
think
pecan
that's-
trees, you take your first left. Okay.
Well, but I think being a cop for so many years though, like you run into so many different types of people and how they are that it's just I've learned over time that okay, I've got to some people are streets, some people are landmarks, so I got to know it all, and I just I take it all in for landmarks and the streets.
Damn.
Yeah,
So
you put me in a
somebody be like,
city
hey, where am I
environment.
going?
You put me in a
You know,
city
they're like-
environment, I'm fine. But if you put me in a rural area, I'm lost. I'm the
Get
opposite.
buildings
Yeah,
blocking me.
opposite.
I'm lost. But trees following me, I know where exactly where I'm at.
Yeah, yeah.
surrounding
For me, it's especially in the city of Manhattan, it's if you've never been here before, it'd be quite intimidating.
Yeah, I
Um,
can't even imagine.
Yeah, but when you grow up here, you gotta get used to it. But if I go somewhere else, like all the way upstate, yeah, I'm completely lost. I'm like, where do I go?
Chris, come down
Closest
here
I've
for
been
six, bro.
downtown Houston. Sorry.
Hey, hey, whenever you have me, man, I'm down.
Let's go out in the sticks. I'll throw you out on the East Reservation. Let's go.
Let's go. I'm down.
Take them over to fucking Toledo Bend.
Facts.
Should have been. Nice.
Well, how long you guys want to run this thing for tonight? Do you want to wrap it up? Or you want to keep going a little bit, or
Wrapping it
what?
up soon.
Wrap
I'm
it.
about ready to wrap.
Yeah, we can do that.
I got a
Oh.
question for you though, Chris.
Yeah.
What's up?
Are you a Giants or Jets fan?
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if you can see, but diehard Giants fan, and
I
I
see
got
it
a
back
Giants
there.
helmet in the case. Diehard Giants fan, and I don't know about the season though.
I kind of figured though because it's crazy reason, but most Yankees fans are Giants fans. Most
Yes.
Mets fans are Jets fans. It's weird.
Yeah, so it's usually you get two type of fans. You get the Yankees, Giants, and Rangers, or you'll get the Mets, Jets, and Islanders fans.
Islanders, yeah.
It's the funniest thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's separate. It's weird.
And it doesn't matter like which location. I mean, some people would say Brooklyn, Long Island, and Queens tend to be obviously for Mets, Jets, and Islanders. For the east side of New York, it's usually Giants, Yankees, and Rangers. And my best friend, who literally lives 5 blocks away from me, is the complete opposite. And I just look at him and I'm just like, how did you turn up like this?
So who the fuck?
Where
roots
did
for
we go
Buffalo?
wrong with you, man?
I'm sorry.
I want
Who the fuck roots for Buffalo?
Oh,
people
all the
from
way up
northern
north.
New York.
Yeah,
Okay.
upstate New York. Yeah.
Merck.
Yep.
Yeah, people from Buffalo, Syracuse,
Merck is
places
from
like
Buffalo.
Okay, but in that case, I have a very serious question then. Who put who on the map? Travis Kelsey or Taylor
Oh
Swift?
man. Oh man.
that. Fuck, it's already bad enough. I'm watching it on the other monitor. It's ridiculous.
Yo, like I was literally wanting to go on. I wanted FanDuel to put a fucking over under on who would actually be shown more, Aaron Rodgers, Taylor Swift, or the actual game.
Taylor Swift, 1000%.
The game is being shown.
Okay.
Yeah.
What the real
Sorry.
question is this going to be a Jessica Simpson, Tony Romo situation?
Oh, that's a great question.
I'm
Way
gonna.
worse.
Yeah. Who we hosting? Let's
I just asked you because I am watching the game right now. They're
Yeah.
tied 2020.
I was about to say I want to go finish that game too because that one
All
seems
right.
like it's really good.
Well, let's wrap it up
That's they're
then.
putting up a fight.
Chris,
They're putting up
bro,
a fight.
thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you guys
Yes,
for having
sir.
me. I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
I only
That's
showed
awesome.
up for you, just so you know. Because
I appreciate that.
She
Thank
doesn't
you.
like the rest of us. Yeah, she don't like the rest of us. So
You don't come. She don't come play anymore.
I only show up when I feel like it.
We're not part of the cool crowd.
we
Just
will
like any other
allow.
officer.
We will
Just so
allow.
you know, we are number one in podcast right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
easily.
Oh, let's go. That's,
Uh,
that's awesome.
Anyways, you guys, the link is in the chat. If you don't follow Kryz, please do. Kick.com/KRYZZZ. 3 Z's. There's a link. Hit it. And then on Twitter, right? You got Twitter, YouTube.
Yes.
Definitely hit him up on the socials. So when we
And
post the
us as
video
well.
up, we'll have links in the comments or in the description areas too. So definitely check that out. But bro, thank you.
So
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Later, you guys.
peace.
Peace.